do you put those two together, John?
Well, in the Chinese, when Mao Zedong took over and actually brought a higher level of communism to the people, they were already conditioned to accept oligarchy and tribal leadership, things of that nature. But one thing he did, which Russia did not do, is he did not take away the traditions and religious aspirations at that time of the Chinese people. So they submitted to him in that type of direction, I think, more willingly than Marxism as far as its lack of success in Russia or other places, because they eliminated all religion. Now, China now is going through and drastically changing one's abilities and freedoms for religion, but they saw enough wisdom to keep that component of the people and using their level, and I'll use the term superstition, because most religion is really superstition, to keep the people satisfied, and they were accustomed to having dynasties and leadership that kind of oversaw the people. So it was a very easy transition for the people to be not deceived, but just be brought into this concept.
They have capitalized off of capitalism.
Sure they have.
They have greatly been enriched by our nation, the United States, as has Russia and others. But you know, the reality is, when you look at America and you put it side by side or juxtapose with the other nations like what we're speaking with China, America has had ingenuity and creation. And then they will take those ingenuities and creations and they will expand them and in some regards perfect them. But the original idea, the thought, the desire to go and create thrives with capitalism because there's personal accountability, but ultimately it breeds accountability to God.
And China steals America's secrets.
Precisely. True.
And Russia, you name any of those countries like that, they steal those type of secrets from America. Now, because they can't create it on their own.
Nope.
Their thinking is not like that. Their thinking is, well, you're supposed to give to me, and you're supposed to, a socialist agenda, or I'd really call it a communist agenda. It is, where the state owns everything and you own nothing.
Let me say something here. The first thing I would do is praying for the leaders that are opposing, not just politically, economically, but even spiritually.
Oh, yes,
First of all, pray for them that they would get saved.
Yes.
I'm thinking about Paul the Apostle. Who would have thought that Paul the Apostle would have had a Damascus Road experience and his life totally transformed? But other than that, I'm looking at Isaiah 54:17. It says, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn.
Yes.
And so anything that is ungodly, we need to take a stand against it and do everything that we can to further the gospel and the truth of the Word of God.
Right. You know, God had a plan and a purpose for Paul. He had a divine call on his life because Paul had the education and the knowledge. And when Paul got saved, he was Saul to begin with, but when he got saved, he could follow the directions of the Lord and do what God told him to do. And that's what the Lord needed at that time. But people have, they are men alive today that maybe is not even in that type of position, but they need to be taken out. They're not going to change, and they're only going to influence other people and harm. And those type of people, we need to pray against. That they cannot get a foothold, or if they have a foothold, that, hey, move them out of that direction. And I want everybody to understand we're supposed to pray like David said. You know, we pray for our brother. Pray that they'll see the light. Pray so-and-so. But there's a lot of people that's not our brothers.
But if not.
That's right. But if not, that's it.
But it's not just the individuals. There's an entire agenda that they're a part of. Yes. And it's under the system of this world, which is ruled by their God,
and that's
Satan.
got to go under the feet of the Christians.
Exactly.
It's got to be done away with. All right, Rhonda, thank you for calling. I'm quickly going to Gwyneth in Arkansas. Welcome to Sun Life Broadcasting. Gwyneth, you have a quick question or comment?
First of all, I want to know if a person is saved, they're going to hell.
Well, the Bible indicates, as we said yesterday, that if a person is living in sin, practicing sin without repentance, they will not go to heaven.
But if you repent...
You repent.
Well, if you repent,
First
that's
John
different.
1 and 9, yes.
And in Hebrews, it's 10th chapter, 26th verse, it starts talking about blaspheming against the Holy Spirit.
You haven't done that, dear. If you had, you wouldn't want to talk to us.
Committing adultery after you're saved isn't blasphemy?
No.
Well, chapter 10 of Hebrews isn't really dealing with that, my friend. In verse 3, it says, but in those sacrifices, referring to the Old Testament sacrifices and covenants, which he brought up in chapter 6, which, of course, deals with the Old Testament economy, the priests and the sacrifices which are no longer present. He says, but if in those sacrifices there is remembrance again made of sins every year, for it is not possible that the blood of bulls and goats could take away sins. So the idea here that we see in Hebrews that is brought up is there's no more opportunity for forgiveness of sins other than by the cross of Jesus Christ. If you ask the Lord, if you confess your sins, the scripture says he is faithful and just to forgive you of your sins and cleanse you from all unrighteousness, as Jim said. Therefore, you ask the Lord to forgive you, but once you are forgiven, Jesus told the dear lady that was caught in adultery, now go and sin no more. So you no longer go and practice that sin any longer. You eschew it and move away from it and quit doing it.
Dad, she was asking in that same chapter,
yes.
verse 26, it says, for if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remains no more sacrifice for sins. I think that might be what she was referring to.
Are you talking about yourself?
Yes.
Okay. What Hebrews chapter 10 is talking about is apostasy. The whole book of Hebrews is written to Jewish people who got saved and then were turning their back on Christ as the means of salvation. That's apostasy. And as long as a person rejects Christ as the means of salvation, there is no means of salvation, but that doesn't mean that they can't come back to the Lord. So, where are you?
Do what?
Do you believe that Jesus Christ died for your sins?
Oh, yes.
Have you asked him to forgive you?
Yes.
Okay, he's forgiven you then. These scriptures don't apply to you.
Right. Okay. Okay.
The scripture says forgetting those things which are behind.
But you need to find that place of victory in Jesus Christ of your life where you do not sin. As John said, go and sin no more. And God has provided a means, the power for you to have in your personal life where you will not sin.
One is a new start.
You have that in Christ.
Have that in Christ.
Amen.
Okay.
And he'll help you.
You keep listening, and every program, every message, every teaching is pointed towards showing you how to have victory in your personal life. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for calling. And our time is up, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to get to Albert in Pennsylvania. Can you say your question real quick, Albert?
He must have.
Oh, I guess he's gone. All right, then. Okay. Well, listen, we've enjoyed being with you. Now, we'll be back with you on Tuesday. We will be having our monthly Bible-thon. That will be for the month of January. But we'll be back with this program on Wednesday, beginning the first program of the year 2018. Wow. And I pray this program, and I felt like it's been beneficial to the people today. We thank all of you for watching. Don't forget, Sunday morning, our service begins at 10 a.m., and we do not have a service Sunday night. The church will not be open. We will not be having a service. We're allowing all of our employees and members of the church to be with their families on this Sunday night. After that, every Sunday night through the rest of the year, we will be having service. But Sunday morning, 10 a.m., so since we're not having Sunday night, make sure you're with us at church Sunday morning. If you live in Baton Rouge, you be with us in person. If you don't live in Baton Rouge, then you can watch us through television. We love you, and God bless you.
Email email questions and comments about today's program to onair@jsm.org. Be sure to join Francis Swaggart on Facebook at facebook.com/Francis Swaggart. Archived programs are available at sunlifetv.com. Francis and Friends is a production of the Sun Life Broadcasting Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pastor Gabriel Swaggart, and if I were you, as a believer, I would have, personally, in my library, as many books as possible that helps me to better understand the Word of God. And we have a plethora of material regarding how that you can better understand the Word of God and your walk with the Lord Jesus Christ. And we've got 2 books written by my grandfather, who is, in my opinion, one of the greatest writers around, and of course that is just my opinion. But he's got 2 books that we would like to present to you half off. Half off. The first one, The World, the Flesh, and the Devil, a term that the early church fathers coined many years ago. This will be a blessing, and Rape of a Nation. Both of these, half off. You can see the number right there on the screen. Go online and get your copies of these 2 books immediately.
Join Family Worship Center Associate Pastors for these upcoming meetings. Get the complete Associate Pastor meeting schedule at jsm.org.
We just concluded our share-a-thon a little bit ago, and I want to thank those of you who helped us. I just thank you from the deep of my soul. But we still fell short a little bit. Our goal was $4,850,000. You gave $3,393,000, for which we are so very grateful. But that left us with a shortfall of $1 million, well, almost $1.5 million, and that's a lot of money. So I need your help. I need your help to make up that shortfall. And I'm going to ask you to do what you can. For those of you who can give $100 or more to help us with this, I want to give you this DVD that I'll guarantee you will bless you. Is not this the land of Beulah? You're going to be blessed when you hear it. Now, this is Jimmy Swaggart saying, thank you so much for your help. And I'm listening for your phone call, and I'll promise you this, God will bless you for that help.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is noon. You are listening to WXPS LP, Spartanburg, South Carolina, FM 92.1. We welcome you into this time of a special fundraiser, and we're getting underway with a total of 5 hours we're going to have here with you live this afternoon from now until 4 p.m. and then from 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. We're going to go to our newscast now, but I just wanted to come in and say hello and let you know, don't turn us off during the news. Keep it right here. If you're on your lunch hour or however you or whenever you may be listening, keep it right here. We're going to come back after the news and tell you what this is all about with a special fundraiser at the end of the year. God bless you, and thank you for being a part of the broadcast today.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Attorneys for the Justice Department have asked a federal judge to change his order that partially lifted the administration's refugee ban as it pertains to those who have formal agreements with refugee resettlement agencies.
The judge limited the part of the injunction to refugees who have a bona fide relationship with people or entities in the United States and said that included refugees who have formal agreements with settlement agencies. The government said the highest court has already indicated it disagrees with the appeal court on that point.
Correspondent Shirley Smith. An immigration enforcement advocate says he is not surprised that California has once again done something to protect criminal aliens from deportation. Chad Groening has more.
Recently, California Democratic Governor Jerry Brown pardoned 2 men just days before they were scheduled to be deported for crimes in the U.S. The Sacramento Bee reported that the 2 Cambodian men were picked up during October immigration sweeps. One was convicted in 2003 on a felony joyriding charge, while the other was convicted on a felony weapons charge in 1995. In his pardon, Brown wrote that both men have, quote, lived an honest and upright life and exhibited good moral character since being released from prison. Ira Melman is a spokesman for the Federation for American Immigration Reform. He is not surprised at the governor's action.
There is hardly a day goes by when California isn't doing something to protect illegal aliens, including criminal aliens. This is just the latest episode in kind of a never-ending story here.
And Melman says even legal residents, if they are convicted of a crime, can be deported.
If you are here in violation of your immigration status, whether it is because you're in the country illegally or because you are a legal resident of the United States but have violated the terms of your presence here in the United States, you can be removed.
In spite of the pardons, the 2 men reportedly will still need to ask immigration courts to reopen their cases. I'm Chad Groening.
Another body part scandal is being reported, but an expert on the business says it needs to be handled with new legislation.
Reuters sent people undercover to purchase the body parts from different businesses. Federal and other government officials then pursued the investigation and found thousands of tons of body parts in freezers and other containers waiting to be sold. AFN talked with Troy Newman of Operation Rescue to learn it was not just remains of unborn babies.
But even cadavers of people who think they're donating their bodies to science are just hacked to pieces with hardware equipment that you buy at the Home Depot and then sold off literally as sides of beef.
And to the highest bidder for a profit. New laws are not needed, according to Newman, because it's already illegal in all 50 states.
We need to put these people in jail, make examples out of them, put them in jail for decades, put them on trial, all these Planned Parenthood abortionists, let them sit there and let the American public see the evidence brought forward and watch them have no excuse and then send them to jail.
Newman cites Deuteronomy 17:13. In the case uncovered by Reuters, Restore Life USA and Biological Resource Center are 2 companies involved. Newman concludes people donating their bodies to science need to beware and be informed. I'm Charlie Butts.
A longtime actress has joined the list of celebrities lost in 2017. Tom Graham has more.
Actress Rose Marie was perhaps best known as Sally Rogers on The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Hey, Rob, what's my future husband like?
Oh, well, Sal, he's a fella.
He's a fella. Good enough. I'll marry him.
She was also a child star in the 1920s and 30s. Over the decades, she worked with co-stars ranging from W.C. Fields to Garfield the Cat and spent 14 years on the Hollywood Squares. Marie was nominated for 3 Emmys and received a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame in 2001. She passed away in the bed of her Los Angeles area home. Marie was 94 years old. Tom Graham, Fox News.
U.S. stocks are edging lower in light trading. Oil prices are heading higher. Stocks remain on track to end the year with strong gains. American Family News is online at onenewsnow.com and download the One News Now mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
And good afternoon. It is 12:05 on FM 92.1 WXPS. We welcome you in to your lunch hour today, which is hour number 1 of the special fundraiser that we're going to be doing on the radio this afternoon. We will be preempting some regular programming. We'll be preempting Through the Bible and the cross preachers from around the world at 1 and 1:30 and Ladies of Faith at 2:30. But we will have Brother Tony Hare at 4 o'clock with the Associate Ministers broadcast. And then we'll be back from 5 to 6 for just about home time, where we continue the fundraiser. Nikki's here with me today. I'm going to let her kind of introduce just briefly what we're doing and give the contact information if you would like to be a part. And then she has a PowerPoint presentation that we're going to be showing on the screen for those of you watching live on Vision of Truth or on one of the social media platforms that we have. We welcome you as well as listeners here on FM in Spartanburg, but we are really especially appealing today, or at least my heart in this today, is to really reach some folks and have some folks respond to the Lord moving upon their heart, who live right here in Spartanburg and who have recently maybe found the radio station or maybe found it a while back, but you've never given to this work. And as Nikki starts to explain what the work is all about that we're raising money for, I pray that the Lord will just deal with your heart and you'll respond to that. Some of you have seen progress on the building downtown, and maybe you've tuned into the radio station for the very first time just in the last few weeks. Well, I want you to know you can be a part of this. You can be a part of what's going on, and we need you to, and I believe the Lord is going to bless you for it. So while we welcome and encourage and appreciate any participation in this fundraiser by anyone, no matter where they are, whether in Spartanburg or not, no matter how they listen or watch, but especially folks in Spartanburg, we need you to step up and be counted at the end of 2017 as we go into a new year in a few days and begin a work that we believe the Lord has called us to do in a new location. We encourage you to be a part. So, Nikki, why don't you start with the contact information, and then just maybe just going into the detailed slides as to what's been going on and what's coming up.
Well, people can give, and I'm not sure you like completely said exactly what we were doing. I mean, you kind of.
No, I didn't, so I'm leaving that to you.
So, so let me explain for people who haven't been keeping up with what we are planning on doing. As we shared months ago, back in September, we found a new location in the downtown Spartanburg area, right across from the Marriott downtown, right up the road from the Krispy Kreme, near the auditorium. Very prominent place downtown on North Church Street. Great location, great facility that we found, and we'll tell all about it today. But we went forward knowing that the building we were getting, we needed a lot of renovations, and knowing that we were going to have to see God move in providing every step of the way. And God has provided. And today we're going to be telling stories about what's transpired thus far and where we're at and how we got to where we're at. We're going to be showing pictures for those that are not listening on the radio, or you can watch. If you are listening on the radio and you have access to a computer, I recommend getting on your computer and going to to the either Facebook and following us on there and watching online, or if you have Roku, download Vision of Truth and watch us on there. Or if you just have simply a computer, you can go to our website, wxpsfm.com, and click on the link that says Watch Live, and you can watch us there. But yeah, I'd recommend doing that because we're going to be showing pictures of the building inside and out today, and I think it'd be more enjoyable. But regardless, we're going to be telling the story of exactly what's taking place, and we're coming to you one last time at the end of this year. We need help financially to continue to move forward in the renovations. Let me say, we had money in the building fund prior to acquiring this building, and that was a huge help in us getting started. We had people give since we started moving. We've had, praise God, we've had things come through all along the way, but there's still much to be done, and one of the biggest expenses coming up is we need to be able to get the heating and air installed, which is going to be roughly around $20,000. So our prayer is that we'll get that raised quickly so that we can get that heat turned on, because it's cold down there working right now, and it's a necessary thing in order to
it doesn't matter if it's cold working, but you can't open the building up for occupancy if you don't have heating and air.
Right.
That's the thing.
So we're going to be sharing all that, and we're asking people to pray about giving, or I know for a lot of individuals, let me say, I know to say $20,000, that's a lot of money, and I get that. There's no way I could give $20,000. I couldn't give $1,000. That's a lot of money. But here's the thing: if everybody does what they can do, it adds up. Just like when we do Radiothon every month, we raise 1,000, and some comes in hundreds, some comes in tens and 20s, but it all comes together and adds up quickly and everything. And it can happen that way here, but then there's also going to be those that can give 1,000. There's going to be those that can give 5,000, 10,000. Right. I think specifically about maybe some business owners here in Spartanburg who you are listening to the station, and you do have the funds to be able to do this. It's at the end of the year. Maybe you're thinking about this is your last chance to give in 2017 for for first of the year. pray about that.
Last chance to give to the work of God this year and to count it as a tax deduction.
Yes, exactly. And so we're asking people to pray about and consider giving and help us to raise the money that's needed to move forward on that building.
Okay, can we cover this right quick? I covered it briefly in my message Wednesday night because I taught on giving. Normally, if a church comes up and says, "Hey, we're moving, we're renovating a building, or building a new facility, whatever the case may be," a lot of folks will think, "Well, I don't go to that church, so let the people in the church handle that. Why should I be involved in that?" Why is this different?
It's different. I mean, one of the things that comes to my mind is because it's not just a church. I mean, not that that's a bad thing to be just a church, but it's an outreach that's going to be going on from that church. It's going to be a bookstore that's open to the public throughout the week. And so for those that live here in Spartanburg, that bookstore will be available to you, carrying great material, not just anything, not just whatever is the popular bestseller book, because we're probably not going to be carrying those books, but we're going to be carrying the things that are truly the Word of God. Teaching that we're going to have a prayer room that's open through the week for people to come and pray. And for those that you have an hour lunch break and you just want to get away and have a time alone to pray, there's going to be a place for you to go and do that, and a place where you can write down your prayer requests and drop them off, and have people pray over them and things like that. So that it's going to be a place where we're going to be recording TV programs to send out on the air on TV. Lots of things going to be going on. We'll be talking about all those things. So
don't forget the radio station.
The radio station, of course.
People who I think there's people who have tuned into this radio station just in the last few weeks because they've seen the banner on that building downtown. And that's what all those things are of vast importance. In the prayer room, the bookstore are all very unique. And those are things for people here in Spartanburg. The radio is Spartanburg and beyond, but not every church has a radio station.
Right.
And if they're already being blessed by this radio station, the radio station studio will be housed there in that building, and it will enable us to do additional things on radio. We're already talking about things we might do for one little example, the Christmas parade next year, since we're going to be right there downtown. And so that's why somebody may go to another church in Spartanburg or another church wherever, but they still, maybe the Lord leads them to be a part of this, because this is more than just what goes on in the four walls of a church.
Right, exactly. It's going to be about outreach and reaching out to Spartanburg and beyond, just like the station's logo or themes is. And so people can give, knowing that it's not just for the people of this church. When we went to find a location, there was things that we had in mind that we knew we had to have, and there was things that was like, well, that would be nice. Like, for instance, a lot of people, when they think about a new church building, they think about a fellowship hall. And a fellowship hall is nice. I have nothing against a church having a fellowship hall. Maybe one day we'll have a nice fellowship hall.
Right.
But that was not like on our priority list, because to me, a fellowship hall is about feeding us.
Right. Which is fine in its place.
It's fine in its place,
but it's not about outreach, and that's what we're about.
And that was
outreach.
our heart. Our heart was outreach.
Right.
And it's like, if God provides one day for us to have that place of fellowship, then praise God. That's great. But our heart is, what can we do to reach others? And so when we went through the building and looked at the place, we were like, oh, a place for this, oh, a place for that. And it was all about outreach. It wasn't about how can I make myself feel better, but it was about how can I reach others. And so it's not just a church that you're supporting, it's an outreach mission work that you're supporting by giving to this. And so let me quickly go ahead and give you that contact information. You can go to our website, wxpsfm.com, and give safely and securely today. If you could, when you go through, go ahead and mark that it's for buildings when you have the option of putting a note, just so that we know that it's not somebody with a regular gift or there, because we do have people give regularly on there. We also have people give directly to the radio on there. So please mark it as building if you're going to do that. You can also mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. But if you're going to do that, go ahead and let us know that you're still going to send that, so that we're aware of that. And you can do that by giving us a call at 864-327-8725. And you can also call that same number to give via credit or debit card. Again, that's 864 327-8725. And if you're,
let me say this, and we're going to get up from right in front of the camera. We're going to get up and take the phone out of here and go answer your call. But give us a minute. If we're talking, when you call, you got to give us a minute to grab the phone and go outside of the studio here and answer your call. But we'll do that. If Nikki's talking, I'll take the call. If I'm talking, she can go take it. But we're not going to miss any phone calls. But we're the only ones here to answer the phone. We don't have a staff out there to answer the phone, so be patient with us. And the best thing to do is call while a song is playing. But if you need to call, if you're on your lunch hour, for example, and you got to call now or never, call now, and we'll quit talking and walk out there and get your call. But just be aware, we're kind of trying to handle every aspect of it today ourselves.
But if we don't make it to the phone, you can just leave your name and phone number, and we'll call you back when we get to a break.
Please don't just say, well, it wasn't meant to be, and just hang up. Because I know how the devil will talk to people, because he does it to me, he does it to all of us. Please don't do that. Please leave a voicemail if you have to, but we're going to do our best to get to your phone call.
And let me say, if you're someone who you're wanting to give a check or money order, maybe someone locally who does want to give a larger gift, you can go ahead and call and tell us that you're going to give that, and we can arrange to meet you later in the day.
They can come by here
this
today.
weekend, or you can stop by here. Whatever, we'll come to you if you want us to. We'll pick it up. So
if people are considering giving and maybe they're so new to this, they're thinking, why are you different from any other church? Why should I give to that? We'll meet if you're serious about it now. We don't have time to go talk to everybody who's not really serious. But if you're serious about giving, but you have some questions, and you say, I want to meet you somewhere. I want to ask you a few things. Let me find out a little bit more about what you're doing. That's fine. Just let us know.
Yep, exactly. So, again, we need everybody to give, and we do have a gift already for which we're thankful.
Yes, amen.
If you want to announce that.
Yes, we have a gift of $300 from Chad and Angel that was given yesterday, and that gets us off to a great start.
Yes.
And this is, we're doing a special fundraiser for a building fund only, $300. We need to use that as a great starting point, which it is, and then leap off from there and raise a lot of money today. If we raise $20,000 today or more, and we really need more. I mean, that's just for the heating and air. We're about to hire a general contractor. Finally, I think we found someone who's going to work with us, and I don't know what he's going to charge us. He's going to be building some walls inside the building that we need, and we're going to have to pay an electrician for some work and other things I'm not even probably thinking about right now. So if we raise $30,000 today, that would be even better. And I know we I wouldn't say struggle, but it's a challenge every month to raise about $1,200 just to keep the radio station on the air. So to say that we'd come on for 5 hours today and raise $30,000, a lot of people would probably kind of raise their eyebrows at that and think, well, that would be unusual. Yes, it would, but God is able. We serve a big God, and there might be one person that's going to give the majority of that $30,000 because they're able to do it. God speaks to their heart. They want to give, and so they do, and it's a done deal. But we need to hear from everybody that we can today. And I don't know how to be any plainer about it, about what our need is and why we feel like everybody who is spoken to by the Lord, should be a part of it, because it does involve you. Even if you never darken the doors of our church, which we hope you will, we'd love for you to come be a part of the church, or at least come visit. But even if you don't, you're a part of this because you listen to the radio station, or because you may visit the bookstore at some point, or you may come by and pray, and you may think, on my lunch hour at work, I'm going to come by and pray. I've never done anything like that. Well, you may be in a place one day when the Lord begins to move upon your heart, and you see the need to pray that you don't see right now, or you may have a situation of your own one day that you don't know where else to turn, so you finally turn to the Lord.
Right.
And for there to be a place you could go pray and have somebody encourage you as you walk in and let you go pray by yourself and not be disturbed, or then even pray with you if you ask them to.
Right.
That's unusual. But, if we had a facility like that in every city, and it was sincerely done and there for the right reason, like this one's going to be, what a change that would make in our country.
Right.
What a change. As that message begin to get out to people that, there's praying people in your city. There's praying people that are believing God. And for you to be able to go and be a part of that, that's the kind of thing that changes one heart at a time and can eventually change an entire group of people, an entire community or city,
right.
if enough people in that group will be a part of something like that. So
right.
just let us know if you need more information. And I'm looking here, we've got Laura joining us today. There are several others that have joined, but they didn't make a comment, so I'm not going to call their names. But Brother Michael, who is an evangelist, he says, greetings from evangelist Mike Heltzley and family from Louisville, Kentucky. So Brother Michael, we're so glad to have you with us today as well.
Right. Man, we're going to get started. And like I said, for those who are able to watch, we actually have a slideshow that we're going to go through. And we're going to be talking, and we'll pause between different places to explain. But we want to kind of give the story of how we ended up in this building and you know, what God's done so far. You know, we want people to know this is why we're here. And so
let me encourage folks again before you start. I see you got 93 slides there, and that's great, but I want people to see this. People that are listening on the radio, if you can go to one of the methods of viewing what's going on, I encourage you to do that. Go to visionoftruth.tv is the easiest and quickest way. You can also go to Facebook and look for Sound of Truth Radio, and you'll see our live video feed going there. You can go to YouTube and search for Truth Chapel, and you'll see our live feed there. You can go to the Twitter page, which is at Truth Chapel WEF, I believe, and you'll see it via Twitter and Periscope there. And I think there's maybe a few things I've forgotten, but those are the ways to view instead of just listening. But we're on Twitter, Periscope, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook Live, we're on our own website, visionoftruth.tv. And so I'm just trying to give you a couple of extra seconds here to go get online with us that way, if you can, so you won't miss any of these pictures in the presentation that Nikki is about to give. But we'll keep it radio friendly as well. We'll be explaining everything for those of you that are just listening. But I do encourage you to watch if at all possible. And I'm sure we'll go through this again a couple more times today. And with as many pictures you've got here, this will probably take us to 1 o'clock. And then we'll do it again maybe an hour or so after that. We will be having some music. We can't talk for 5 hours straight, or we wouldn't be able to go have a work day tomorrow, which we're planning on having at the building. But anyway, let's get this. By the way, Pastor James from Lawrence, South Carolina says, God bless your ministry. Thank you, Pastor James. That means a lot to me. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it greatly.
All
Take
right.
it away.
All right. So you have to tell me, how do I work this?
Because you're going to progress here one at a time.
Does that go one at a time?
Yep,
okay,
I think so.
Sorry. All right, so just to kind of start you off way back, actually, we actually got land for our church in 2010. We were blessed and able to acquire, I believe, 6 acres of land? More? No, it's more.
No, it's a total of about almost 12.
It's almost 12 acres of land.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I forgot about half of it.
Yeah, I forgot.
6 of it was donated, remember?
Yes,
and then
6
we
was
bought
donated.
a little over 5 more.
Okay, so, yeah, I forgot how much land we had, but we were...
Well, let me jump in here. Brother Chris, praying and believing for these much-needed funds to be met. God bless. Thank you for these comments. We appreciate it. Please do comment all day long if you can. Those of you that are watching or listening, we appreciate that.
Yes. So back in 2010, we acquired 12 acres of land, and, you know, originally our plans and thought was we'll build on this land. We thought that was the way it would go. And I shared it. I wrote a post last night on Facebook. I read a long post, but I think some people did take time to read it. It kind of explained it, you know, it's not about our time, and it's not about our way. It's not about, you know, it's got to be what God says when God says. And I do believe that land was given to us by God, right. And God has used that piece of property greatly thus far. And I believe there's more to come.
More to come on that
There's
property.
more to come on that property.
Do you want me to interrupt when we get donations in?
Sure.
We have $50 from Pastor James.
Oh,
Thank you,
praise
Pastor.
God.
We appreciate it so very, very much.
Yes, and I'll get that updated soon.
Yes.
So we receive, you know, I believe there's still more to come on that land, but it turns out it's not exactly what I thought as far as being able to build on that land. And, you know, that's fine. It's whatever God desires is the plan. So we received that land, and we thought we would eventually be there. God has done great things, like I said, there. We've had the camps there. We've had a school there. We, you know, a lot has taken place. We've done many ministry outreaches there as far as having services outside and things like that, and it's been good. But about a year ago, or actually probably more closer to 2 years ago, we began thinking that maybe we needed to look back into buildings and start thinking more about, instead of building, finding a place that already exists. And I say about 2 years ago because we kind of played around with different buildings around town. Actually, we glanced at this one or glanced at that one. But then a year ago, it was actually during the Christmas break, we really felt that urging, like, this is it. We've got to move downtown. Downtown is where we need to be. And it became this thing. It was so strong. I remember one time I asked you, as we were looking at buildings downtown, I said to you, if someone gave us $1 million today, would you go and build a great big nice new church on the property we have out in Camp Croft?
Mm-hmm.
I said, or would you come downtown and buy a building?
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I'd buy a building.
Yep.
And so when he said that, I knew. I was like, okay, that settles it. That settles it, because that's his heart was more into downtown, and I knew it was God that was leading that way.
Because not just to try to reach people in downtown, but because of the location. Because for a while, years and years ago, I thought that, when people get the message of the cross or want the message of the cross, they'll come find us wherever we are. Mm-hmm. And that there's still some truth in that, I think, to some extent. But we found that as far as people wanting the message of the cross, most people don't set out wanting the message of the cross. You can't want something that you doesn't know exists, so you've got to put it in front of them.
Right.
And that's what the central location and a place where this in prominence and centrality. That's the two things about downtown. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people downtown now. There's a lot going on, so that makes it very prominent. But it's also central to people on the east side, the west side, the north, the south. People driving in from out of town for special meetings we do. Mm-hmm. They can easily find downtown Spartanburg, but they can't easily find, we found out, some won't even try it, 5310 South Pine Street, because it's too far out for them. So there's just multiple reasons, those being the two main, prominence and centrality, reasons to be there. And that's why I felt that way. Let's pause every now and then and give the contact information again, just in case somebody just tunes in and out. They need to, so do that again if you would.
Okay, you can give by going to WXPSFM.com and clicking on the donate link, or you can give us a call at 864-327-8725, or you can mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. But if you do that, please also give us a call and let us know what you're going to be giving so we can include it in today's totals.
Right.
All right, so back to the story. As far as the downtown, interesting enough, I don't know how many people I've shared this with. I don't think many. When we first felt like God told us to begin a church, we went and met with our pastor at the church that we were attending and told him that we felt like this was where God was leading, and we were going to be leaving and beginning our own church. And it was kind of a sad situation for me in a lot of ways, because I loved our pastor. He was a wonderful man of God, and he was actually, we knew he was going to be retiring soon, and it was kind of like, I hate to leave, and I'd rather leave when he leaves. And it was kind of funny because a couple of weeks after we told him this, he announced that he was retiring that August, the end of August. Mm-hmm. And we said, okay, that's perfect. We'll leave out at the same time and everything. So God brought it all together perfectly. But I remember when we were sitting in his office talking, and he said, well, what part of town are you thinking about starting the church in? And we were kind of like, well, it's going to kind of have to be where we can find a building we can afford, was, kind of what we were going for. But I remember at one point I said, I would really love to be in the downtown area. And the reason why I said that was because I just knew there was the possibilities of reaching people down there. I think I probably heard you tell stories about the preacher friend you had who had the tent revivals downtown, mm-hmm. and the kinds of things that that just something about that. All the people that you have downtown, mm-hmm. you've got everything from the homeless man to the businessman.
That's right.
And everything in between. I mean, it's like a wide range of people.
And the true gospel is for all of them.
Yes,
no matter what station in life they're in.
That is like such a mission field.
Right.
And, my heart is, and, sometimes I think about this, and I think, my prayer is that one day we'll have in our sanctuary, the lawyer sitting next to the homeless man,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and people of everything in between,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but coming in and saying, we're here for the same purpose. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about how much money we have. It's not about our background. It's not about any of these things. It's about Jesus Christ. And I shared recently in a message with our congregation, I said, you know, we may have people come in just to get warm, because that's the kind of, I mean, you'll have those kinds of people downtown. I said, you may have people come in just to get warm, but while they're there, we can give them Jesus. We can give them the gospel, and they need it. And you know what? We've had, and, you know, as I'm speaking about this, we've had stories recently from people of people meeting homeless people on the street with radios who were listening to 92.1 FM. So they're listening to this station, and they're receiving the gospel of Jesus Christ. And to me, that's amazing, because that's the gospel.
Right.
That's the gospel. It's for everyone.
Right.
Now, of course, they can't give today, as we're asking for thousands of dollars. They can't give, but you can.
That's right.
You can give and be a part of them receiving the gospel, continuing, and for them to have that facility where they can come in and worship and have that place of prayer and things like that. And we do want to have outreach to the homeless in the area when we get down there. We really do want to be a part of reaching out to them even more, because it's for them too.
You know, one pastor we know up in Colorado, by the way, he's just joined our Cross Preachers series, Pastor Eric Harding in Finished Work Worship Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado. They did an outreach recently where they went and gave out backpacks to homeless people. I'm not sure, I don't remember what all they put in there.
They have blankets and some necessities.
So we want to do that, and I want to put a radio in there. Just in case, I'm serious, just in case they don't have one. And I want it's going to be tuned to 92.1 because the homeless person, I don't know how many there are, but we know of one person that somebody gave some money to for some food, and they said, can you give me some batteries from a radio? And it was Sound of Truth radio they were listening to. I think there's probably more like that, and there definitely will be more if we'll give them a radio. I think people that are in that situation, maybe we would say the lowest point in life that one could get, almost being homeless, they're looking for hope. And hope is found in the gospel. It's really not found anywhere else. It's found in the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is what comes over these airwaves and streaming over the internet through WXPS. So that's one of you said we were going to do outreach to the homeless. I just want to throw that in. The inspiration came from what God laid on the heart of Pastor Eric Harding. And we want to do something like that too. We're going to stick that radio in there as well with some other stuff they need.
Also, our dear friend, Brother Billy Douglas, recently he set up a table outside of his church, and I believe he's located maybe in a downtown area from things I've seen before. And he set up a table and just gave out Bibles for free. And I thought, that is such an awesome thing.
And we can't give out the Expositor Study Bible for free, but we can give out at least a little New Testament or something. Or maybe, I don't know. I'd like to get a hold of some of those outreach expositors. I don't know if we can do that, but we'll give them just a King James New Testament, if nothing else.
Something.
And then maybe they get to the point in life in their walk with the Lord, they'll come in and say, hey, I want to buy an Expositor's New Testament. I mean, things like this are going on, and this is what with the local. See, I mean, we can't, if we set up a table out here where we are, being very thankful for where God has put us for 13 years, and thankful for the one who leased us this building and now is mortgaging this building for us. Grateful for all of that, but you put up a table out here with 55-mile-an-hour traffic going by, and you're not going to give away any Bibles. Probably we tried to give away free hot dogs. We couldn't even get anybody to stop for a free wiener. So they're not going to stop for. Let's be honest. Sometimes you have to give it. They receive it reluctantly if you're giving them the Word of God. But God can use it. Of course, it'll make a change. But if you can't give them free food, they're probably not going to be interested in a Bible either. But when you go where there's walking traffic, as well as cars going by where they could stop if they wanted to, instead, it's really opening up a whole new group of outreach efforts. And these other pastors that we know, where they're preaching the truth as well, we appreciate their ministries. They're an inspiration with what they've been doing already.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So
speaking of them, I've got another pastor that joined us here, but he didn't comment, so I won't call his name. I don't know if he'd want me to. But another pastor from the great state of Texas, and he's talk about an inspiration this year.
Oh yeah.
I'll call his first name Pastor Ronnie. He's been an inspiration this year in more ways than one.
He's been an inspiration for years for us.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
So anyway, do you real quick want to give the contact information again?
Let's do that again. Yep.
If you want to give, you can go to our website, wxpsfm.com, and click on the donate link, or you can call us 864-327-8725, or mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. Our current total, I believe, is $350. And yes. But so we still need more. We need help as we continue to raise money to help with the renovations of the building downtown.
I mean, let me just say again, we appreciate any help from anyone, anywhere they are, that might feel led to give today, but especially folks in Spartanburg, South Carolina, that have never given before, and you maybe just only recently have become acquainted with the station, or you may have been listening for almost 3 years now, because that's how long we've been on the air, almost 3 years. But we need you to be a part of this. And I'm talking about folks, they've been driving by that building. Maybe they drive by Church Street every day. They've seen the banner up the last few weeks. They've seen that we've made some improvements to the outside. We've put some wreaths on the windows and doors. We had a nativity scene and a cross in the front windows, and we're going to be doing some more exterior improvements very, very soon. Some things have already been bought and paid for. We're just waiting on the materials to come in so we can install them, and I'll talk more about that when you go through some of these pictures in a minute. But folks like that, you've just become acquainted. You've said 92.1, and you've turned it on, and you've already been blessed by what you've heard. We need you to be a part, and we're just going to stop every few minutes and give this contact information and remind you that we need to hear from you.
Right. All right, so as we shared, left off in the slideshow, we're only on slide 3. We're going to
3 out of 93. We might just do this one time because it might last till 5 to 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
At the rate we're going. I just got to get Nikki to quit talking over the top of the microphone and really keep that microphone there as she describes these things here. All right, let's roll again.
So we knew downtown was where we were supposed to go, and so last December 2016, we began looking at facilities downtown. And let me say, it was quite the journey as we were looking for places, because there was always discouragements along the way, and at times you would get very tired of the no's that you would get. We would talk to some people, and they would say yes or maybe, and the response would be positive and exciting, and we would feel like yes, and then later they say, well, no, I decided I didn't want to do that after all. Discouragement. Or some we would talk to, and they didn't really want a church in their building. Again, discouragement. And I get it. It's their building. They can choose what they wanted in it, but it was discouraging. Or we would look at some places, and it would be too small. And we would even discuss, well, is there a way we can make do with it? Maybe we could just move the radio station downtown right now and not move the whole church. I mean, we would discuss all these things. Maybe we could just have the bookstore. But we weren't never feeling good about those things. Some, they were too cost prohibitive. For instance, some buildings needed a sprinkler system installed, and we knew that was going to cost so much that we just couldn't manage to do that. And then sometimes we would talk to real estate agents. We called several, and we just would have difficulty working with them. They would either not call us back or want to show us stuff that wasn't what we wanted to look at, and we would say, no, thank you, that's not what we're wanting. Because, to them, when you talk about faith, and you talk about, they discuss the bottom line, what's your budget? And we said, well, it's not much, but we're believing God. And to them, they can't talk like that.
Right. Even the one, and some of them claim to be Christians, and I don't, and they probably are. I'm not doubting that, but they don't know what we do. They don't know the message of the cross. They don't understand the uniqueness and the need for this. And so we're just another little church trying to get started in their eyes, I think.
Right.
And you can't let this be a word of encouragement to all of you out there for whatever you're involved in. Don't let somebody else's lack of understanding as to what God has told you to do, don't let that deter you from moving forward in what God has told you to do. If you know He's really told you, nobody else is going to understand. Even people, as grateful as we are for the folks here in this church that have given and given and given, they've attended, they've prayed, they've done all the things we've asked them to do, all the things the Lord's laid on their heart, we still don't expect them to understand like we do exactly how it is we're supposed to do everything. So don't let people, don't let us, it might be a real estate agent, it might be 101 other people in different positions, but don't let them, because of their lack of understanding of what God has told you, don't let them be the ones the devil used to stop you in your tracks and just say, well, I guess everybody thinks I'm silly or this is crazy or whatever, so I better not do this. But there'll be people that'll laugh at you.
Right.
If you're really involved in the work of God, there'll be persecution. There'll be people who will misunderstand. They'll laugh at you. They'll accuse you of all kind of things. They'll accuse you of it being about you and trying to get money. And, I always kind of laugh at that and say, well, if I was trying to get money, I probably should go get me another job in computers. I've been in it for 30 years. I probably should go get me another computer job somewhere, and I could probably make decent money. But it's not about money, because what we've chosen to do, even though I still have a part-time job in that, is not something that's brought in a lot of money. It's not even a full-time job for me as far as pay. It is as far as time needs and constraints, but not pay. But you do it because it's the call of God on your life. So don't let somebody else tell you that you got to be in a little vacant strip mall somewhere with your church. If that's where God puts you, great. God put us here where we are right now on South Pine Street for 13 years.
And it's been
that's
a great location.
It's been great. But if you know God has told you something else, don't sit back and say, well, so-and-so said I can't do that. It doesn't matter what so-and-so said. It matters what God says.
Right, exactly. Exactly. We have to trust God. And when we were doing this, we initially we talked to the board about what was going on. We then began telling people in the prayer meetings that we would have on Friday nights, we need your prayer. This is what we're doing, and we need prayer. And other people in the church soon knew too, but we really probably talked more with the people at prayer meeting on Friday night to help us pray.
Right.
And to, because this was of urgency. And I remember we had some powerful prayer meetings.
We did.
Some powerful ones.
I was thinking just the other day, we drove through downtown the other day, and I said it's been exactly a year since we looked at the first building there that we thought we'd get into, and that one didn't pan out. But it was also, right after that, exactly a year ago, we would have some Friday night prayer meetings at our house. And sometimes after that, if you remember, I would say, we need to drive down to that building and just sit in front of it in the car and pray. And we would do that. Turns out, like I said, it's not that building, but we were in the vicinity. We were downtown praying in the vicinity of where we are going to be. We were down there praying, and sometimes on Sunday after lunch we'd go by and pray. Other times, if we were out anyway, we'd say, let's go by there and pray. Weeknights, not after prayer meeting, but we just say we just need to go down there and pray. And I believe those times of prayer right up until the recent prayer meetings we've had, it's all had an impact.
Yes,
I believe it's all had a great impact. And
Absolutely.
I'm not patting us on the back for praying, or even the other people that came and pray, but there's power in prayer.
There is.
God honors
There is.
his people getting together and agreeing on things
Right.
if it's his will. God's
Right.
going to move in those situations.
Right, amen. And I remember, people would be praying, and as they start praying for the new church location and everything, the power of God would just be moving, and they would be speaking in tongues, and it was always powerful, and it always leave me encouraged that despite the nays that we were receiving, despite the negativity that we received from everyone we try to talk to, I still believed. I still had that faith.
Right.
God was doing this, and God was going to bring us through. Well, around spring of the year, you actually one day, I think it was during your lunch break when you were at the office, you rode by this particular building on North Church
I remember
Street.
riding downtown. I said, I'm going to ride through downtown, because we knew that first building we looked at was not going to work out.
We had looked at multiple buildings.
Yeah,
by that
well, the
time.
first one, we were really serious about it. It didn't work out, and we looked at others too. They weren't working out. And I said, I'm just going to ride one more time and see if I see something else that we've missed that might be a possibility.
Right. And you came across the building that we are moving in. The building is on North Church Street. It's 250 or 252 North Church Street. And it had, instead of a realtor sign in the window, it had the sign of the owner phone number to call. And so you immediately called him to ask questions, and you had a great conversation. You came and you told me about your conversation and how nice he was, how he said there was a lot of work that needed to be done in it. It was previously a tavern, and everything had been left behind, and it was pretty much in a mess in a lot of ways.
And the one thing he said that sticks in my mind, he said, well, it'd be nice to have a church there.
Yeah.
He said it used to be a tavern. He said it was a bar before, and it's been empty 3 or 4 years probably. But he said it'd be nice to have a church there. You don't hear that from a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've since come to realize I believe this man is a believer. I don't know what church or denomination he's a part of. He's probably not Pentecostal. But he said some
really
things.
Nice.
Very nice man. He said some things to make me think he's a believer. And so that's how the conversation with him got started. He said, well, it'd be great to have a church there.
Right. And so it was just, you know, you called me and you were so encouraged and excited, and you asked me if I was ready to go see it, and I said yes. So you made an appointment and we went to go see it. And honestly, there, you know, seeing all the stuff in it, which I'll show pictures in a little bit, seeing all the stuff in it, it was kind of like, wow, there is a lot here. But nonetheless, we went through and I was like, okay, there's that room, there's that, you know, I could see. It's like, wow. And especially like the upstairs was laid out so awesome. I was like, this is perfect. And so we were excited. But then we got downstairs after walking through the whole building. We went up, came back down. And then the man informed us. He said, well, you know, I'm sorry to tell you this, but there's actually someone else who was already looking at the building. And
I've got to give him first shot at it.
Yeah, I've got to give him first shot. He's wanting it. He's trying to work out some things with financing and things like that. And he's like, can you give me a couple of weeks and call back? And so we were like, oh, okay, sure. And so we were so crushed, but we were like, okay, we'll wait a couple of weeks and we'll call back. Well, you did. You waited a couple of weeks and called back. And he said, the man's still trying to work things out. Give me another call later. So we waited, and while we were waiting, we were looking at other places too. We weren't just sitting and waiting. We were, you know, okay, well, maybe this, maybe that, you know, but we kept calling back. We were like, okay, but we really like this one. And every time we called back, he'd say, not yet. Well, then I think one of your last, not the last, obviously, but one of your last conversations with the man, he kind of acted like he thought it was going to go through. Yeah. And we were right by to see what was happening. And the sign got taken down, the sign with the phone number. And so in some ways it looked like, oh, it was going through. But we still ride by and we were like, I don't see any work being done. I don't see anything being accomplished. Yeah. And so we were kind of like, well, you know, is something going on? What's happening? And so we kept looking, and then eventually because we didn't have any work being done, you eventually decided to call them back.
Yeah, let me say this right quick. One of the really, and I want to say this to try to encourage other people, one of the really discouraging times for me was we had made a trip to Washington, D.C. for a homeschool trip. Back in early May, I believe it was, and we started talking to this man in March or April, and he had said, like you told, there was another man interested. He gets first shot at it because he came to him first. You know, give me a few weeks. Well, the time that I was supposed to call him back would have been at the end of our trip to Washington, and I remember waiting all week. I enjoyed going to Washington. Would not have gone if Hillary had gotten elected. I had no interest, to be honest, in going, even of all the historical value. I would not have wanted to go to Washington if Hillary had gotten elected, but I was glad to go to Washington considering what had happened in the election. But I enjoyed it all week, but I kept anticipating, thinking that Friday as we pulled out of Washington, I would call the man, and I did, and he said, well, I got to give this guy a few more weeks. And, I mean, my heart just sunk. It was just very disappointing and discouraging. And then there was even the time that we saw, like I think you just told, because I was busy or maybe you're about to, the for sale sign came down, but we saw no work taking place.
Right.
And but when that sign came down, I thought, oh, okay, he's gotten it. You know, but the Lord moved upon our heart to call back one more time, which is probably what you're about to get to. And so just encourage people today. Listen, if God tells you no, then you need to take no for an answer. Yeah. But if it's the devil telling you no, or other people involved, or whatever the case may be, you keep believing God, no matter how it looks. You keep believing the Lord. If we didn't do that, if we had believed, if it was a lie of the devil that building had been taken, if we had believed that, instead of making one more phone call, we'd still be waiting to find a building somewhere right now today.
Right. So then I think it was around August. And do you have a phone ringing?
I do, but it's going to be hard to answer this one here because this is a studio line.
Oh, okay.
All right, we've got somebody calling us on the studio line right now. If you would, please give us a call back on our prayer and donation line, which is 327-8725. 327-8725 is the number that we need you to call instead of the 24 number. Please call 25, and I'll be able to get up as Nikki continues this and get up, and I'll go out and take your call.
All right. So in August of that year, in August, so that was from spring to finally August.
August of this year.
Yeah, of this year. Mm-hmm. We, you decided to call back. Even though the sign was gone and everything, you thought, well, there's nothing taking place. So I'm going to call back and see what's happening. And so when you called, and do you want to take my iPad with you in case? Okay. So when you called, he said, well, actually, it looks like it's not going to happen after all. That things had fallen through. I don't remember the exact details. Something about the man was wanting to make an apartment upstairs, and the city had told him no on that, and so things had fallen through on that, and so he wasn't going to be able to get the building after all. And he said, so if you want, you can come and look again, and we'll talk further. So of course we were excited. Absolutely, would we like to come and take a tour again and look further and talk further about it. So we went. We met down there again another day. We walked through again, and got even more kind of an image of what all was there. And let me say, he also had the lights turned off because there was a leaky roof, and he didn't want to turn on the lights because he was afraid of water in the in the electrical and stuff like that. And so when we went, we had a tour in the dark both times and everything, but we took a flashlight and we looked around, and so we took that tour. We asked them, we said, can we come back with our board later in the week? Can we bring out some people and get some prices on some things so we can see what it's going to cost to do the work that's needed? And of course he said yes. He said, I'll have my key at the office. Just come by and get it anytime. And his office was a couple of doors down from the building that we're moving into. And he said, just come by and get it whenever you need it, and you can do that. So we did. We took the board down there. We showed them around everything. We got people out there with roofing. We got people out there with heating and air. People out there with electrical, so forth, and had them come and give us prices on things so we could kind of add up what the prices were. And sometimes people would come in. This was one of those times where Satan was always there to try to steal the joy. Some of the people would show up and they would be like, yep, we can help you, we can do this, we can do that. And they were very nice, and they gave us good prices, such as the heating and air guy. He gave us, he was very nice and gave us a great price compared to some of the other prices we got. And, and I don't know if you want me to, but I'll just say, the heating and air is the Pearson Heating and Air.
Mm-hmm. Yes, if you need heating and air in Spartanburg or surrounding areas, these are the folks that we're working with, and they've done a little bit of work already. He had to remove some units off the roof to make room for the roofer to work. And we thought we would have the whole system installed by now, but we don't have the money yet, and we couldn't do it until the roof got done, and the roof had a great delay. It didn't get done until a couple of weeks ago. So Pearson Heating and Air, we highly recommend. We love those folks. But I think what you were going to say, we had some other people that weren't as honest as Pearson Heating and Air, and they said, we'll do all these great things, and then they changed their mind on us, and it delayed us for weeks and weeks at a time. One of the roofers was an example. He kept us on a string for like 2 months until we finally thought, he's not going to do this roof. And we found somebody else with a lot better price anyway, and with financing, which we greatly needed. So the Lord has a way of working things out. But again, there was those delays and discouragements all along the way that Satan will be sure he puts up in front of you. But then the Lord will come back and say, well, you know what? I'll just send him somebody that's going to give him a better deal. It's going to bless them even more.
Right. But I'm talking about the numbers we got in preparation to offer, really, is what I'm talking about right now. Mm-hmm. We had people that would come through, and some people were excited and on board with us. And then others would come through and they were like, oh, this is going to be a lot of work. And every time they said that, it was kind of like, okay, are we asking you to do all this? No, we're not. We're just asking you to do whatever we're hiring you for. So don't criticize.
Negativity.
Yeah.
Negativity has no place in the life of a believer. And of course,
when they were that way, we were like, "You're not hired. I don't care what you say for this point.
You don't need to be around people like that, because it'll start to rub off on you. It'll discourage you. It'll bring you down, and you just don't need that.
Right.
When you're doing something like this, that's a challenge anyway, a challenge of your faith, and it is going to be hard work. And you're going to have to really stretch yourself more than you're already doing. You don't want people like that around.
Right. So we had the discouraging people come through, but we had people who were excited with us and on board with us. And we even met the city inspector down there. Met him down one day, and he walked through because we thought, well, we want to know what is the city going to tell us to do, because we can't commit to this without knowing what kind of hoops they're going to make us jump through. And he was very nice. He walked through with us. He pointed out things. He wrote us up a report. Some of the things he said were things that we totally understood and got and knew that had to be done anyway, such as the heating and air. But and some of the things he mentioned that we didn't know about, it wasn't anything major. So we
no major surprises.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, no big deal. We can do that. And so it was pleasant. It wasn't free. It was, the work that needed to be done, it wasn't just completely without cost. It wasn't even what we had in the building fund, but it wasn't it wasn't to us outside of God's reach.
It wasn't anything where we said, well, why are they making us do that? It wasn't anything extravagant. But the heating and air and the roof, there's $40,000 right there. There's $40,000 right there. Not to mention the other stuff. So it's significant. And we still have people that look at us like, well, why are you doing this in a building that you're just leasing? Which we'll probably get to later on about how eventually we want to buy this building, and we'll be going to a bank for a loan and maybe coming back for some more fundraisers for a down payment or whatever. But again, people that aren't living in faith don't understand things like this. And even if they are, they're living in faith for their situation, and they don't know what God has spoken to us.
Right.
And so we don't expect everybody to understand it, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to stand around long and listen to people talk negatively about it either.
Right.
I don't expect them to understand always and get on board and pat us on the back and say, oh, this is great, I'd be doing the same thing, because God hasn't called them to do the same thing. But I'm not going to stand around and absorb a bunch of their negativity for long either. Right. I don't have time for that, and I don't want to have to deal with it.
Right, exactly.
So, let that be a word. Got some more words of encouragement here for some other folks here today, I hope, because not everybody's renovating a building and moving downtown, but there's something going on in your life, and it may not have anything to do with ministry. Maybe a personal thing that you're going through. You're believing God for something that everybody else tells you God's not going to do. What matters is, what did God say about it?
Yeah.
What did God say about it?
Right. So by the end of August, we had many discussions with our board, and by the end of August, we went to the man and we made him an offer, and he said he was in agreement. He gave us the key, told us to begin the work whenever we were ready, and in early September we signed the contract and we began work. And as you said, we are right now just leasing the building, and he was very kind in that these months that we've been working, he has not been charging us rent. He's been letting us work for free. As far as paying him any lease, we start our lease in March, but it's not what he was asking. He started us at a much lower rate, and I think 6 months later it's going to go up a little bit, and then 6 months later go up again to get to the amount that he has asked for. So he has been very kind in that, and he's also, his desire is to sell the building, and the amount that he was asking for the building, he's keeping it as is, keeping it that price for us to be able to, hopefully within the next couple of years, hopefully within the next year, really, to be able to come to him and say, we can do that. We're ready to purchase the building. And I know some people, they ask questions like, well, is he going to take off the amount of money that you spent renovating? Well, no, because that's what he was selling it as, an unrenovated building. And honestly, the price that he is asking is an incredible price.
By the time we get it
and by the time
finished?
the time we get it finished, it's going to be valued a lot more than what he's asking us to pay.
Which
so,
should be a great advantage going to a bank.
Yes.
Let me pause for a second. You're listening to WXPS LP, Spartanburg, South Carolina, FM 92.1. It is 1 o'clock Eastern Time exactly. And before we're just going to keep on rolling with this, but why don't you give the contact information?
Actually, I was going to say in just a moment if we could go to a break and play a song, and
we can do that.
And then before we go to next, we're coming up on the pictures of what the inside looked and like, and so we'll take a little break before we do that. But you know, you can give right now. WXPSFM.com. Click on the donate link. You can mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. You can give us a call, and while we're playing the song, it's an excellent time to give a call.
Yeah, we need to take a break and take some phone calls.
864-327-8725. And if you want to meet us sometime, if you live in Spartanburg and you say, I'd rather just hand deliver it or have you come pick it up, give us a call, and we'll work out those details. And we ask people to consider giving whatever amount, anything, whether it's small in man's eyes, it's not small in God's eyes, whatever God's told you to do, or perhaps you could give even more so, but we do need your help. And so we'll go to a break in just a moment.
Yeah. We've had a lot of people tuning in and out just on Facebook, and I know that we've got some on Twitter and some on YouTube, and I think a lot probably on FM 92.1. And we're very thankful for this $350 mark that we are at, but we need to hear from some more folks. So during this song, be honest, I want that phone to ring. I want the phone to ring, and we can take credit or debit card over the phone. They can call to say they're going to mail in a gift, and I think you gave the address a moment ago, and they can also go to WXPSFM.com and donate via PayPal. Not only will we meet somebody somewhere if they want to give, but if you just got some questions, if you've got legitimate questions before you decide, and I'm talking about people maybe that want to give a sizable gift, maybe they're thinking about giving $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, and they say, hey, I want to meet these folks. I want to, maybe they even want to come meet us at the building or something. We're happy to do that. We can accommodate anybody if you're legitimately considering giving and you want to talk to us more about the ministry and what we're all about, what we're going to be doing. We'll be happy to do that. If you would, can you go back to that picture of unfortunately it's a picture of me, and I don't never ask for a picture of myself to come up on the screen before, I don't think. But I wanted to say something humorous before we go to this song. I'm not comparing us finally getting access to that building with somebody getting saved, but I remember the story about Brother Swagger when he got saved. God told him not to go into that movie house, so he went and bought himself an ice cream cone. Well, this day that we were given the keys, I think we went over to Krispy Kreme and got a donut, if I remember correctly. We were celebrating. That was our big celebration. Went and got a donut, thankful that he turned over the keys and knowing that he was very serious about it to give us the keys, and that soon we'd be actually signing an agreement with him. So we're going to pick up with that when we come back. One more time, quickly, contact information, we're going to a song.
You can give by going to WXPSFM.com and clicking on the donate link, or you can mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304, or you can give us a call, and right now is a great time to give us a call at 864-327-8725.
All right, we are waiting to hear from you. We need to hear from you right now. If you will please give us a call or go online. We'll be looking for your gift to come in. Thank you, and God bless you as you give today.
Well, Jesus, he's the man at the river, and he's washing all their sins away, telling you that he can save your soul if you give him control and get ready for that judgment day. Let's all go down to the river
Let's all go down to the river. Randy Knapp's on FM 92.1 WXPS. I have to admit, the first time I heard that song, it was by Johnny Paycheck and Jody Miller. That was over 40 years ago. If anybody told me I'd be playing it on the radio by Randy Knapp's, of course I didn't know who Randy Knapp's was back then. I wouldn't have thought that would have been the case. But anyway, I like Randy's version. I like theirs too. It was good. It's 10 minutes now after 1 Eastern Time on FM 92.1. We are here as part of a special fundraiser for those of you normally tuning into Through the Bible at this time. The reason that we're on live is because we're raising money to complete this renovation and move to downtown Spartanburg. And we need your help. We need your help very, very much. Our total now is at $370, and that's thanks to the new total above the $350 where we were is thanks to Laura giving $20. We appreciate it so very, very much. You know, we're at $370, which is wonderful, but we've only had 3 donors so far that have made up that $370. So we need to hear from some more folks. And as we've said before, I just especially want to appeal to people in Spartanburg who are listening to WXPS. You're being blessed by it, and that's the reason that you need to be a part of this, is because even if you don't come to Truth Chapel, and we hope you will one day if the Lord leads you there, but even if you don't, you're being blessed by the radio outreach. And the radio station is moving into that building downtown along with a TV studio, a bookstore, a prayer room, and the church itself. So there's a lot going to be going on there. There's also going to be a room where we'll be able to do some work like send out tracts and send out CDs and DVDs, some things we haven't done lately that we want to get back to. It's all about outreach and about touching people with the gospel. So we ask you to be a part of it, and I'm going to ask Nikki to give the contact information one more time, how to get in touch with us today and let us know that you're going to be participating. Maybe she can tell a little bit about the heating and air being one of the next steps we need to take, and that costing $20,000. And then she's going to pick up with the presentation about kind of the history of this, especially over the past year. We're about 10% of the way through that, it looks like. And so there's a ways to go, and we do encourage you to watch if you can. Those of you listening on FM, if you have a way to watch right now, and if you've got a smartphone, or if you're at work on your computer, at home on your computer, or on Roku on your TV, you've got a way to watch. Easiest way, visionoftruth.tv, but we're also on social media live right now with the video feed, and that's Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. So there's a lot of ways to watch, a lot of ways to listen. However you're joining us today, thank you, and give us a call if you can. How can they get in touch with us?
All right, you can give online safely and securely by going to WXPSFM.com and click on the donate link, or you can mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. But if you're going to do that, please also give us a call at 864-327-8725. You can also call that number to give via credit or debit card over the phone. Again, it's 864-327-8725. If you don't receive an answer, just leave your name and phone number, and we will call you back as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here to kind of giving people the story of where we're at and how we got to where we're at. And so far we've been sharing about the journey of looking for a new location, feeling like it was God's time for us to find a new location downtown, and kind of gave a summary. I say a summary because we've left a lot of details out of what led up to this particular building that we acquired. And again, to reiterate, we began early September by signing a contract that with a great lease rate, and some people question, well, why are you renovating when you're a lease? Should the person owning the building be doing that? Well, here's the thing: he wanted to sell it. He didn't want to lease it.
Yeah, if they find out we're leasing it, they say, "Oh, well, isn't the owner helping you out?" He wants to sell the building. He can sell the building as is and get the money that he wants for it.
Right.
But he was willing to lease it to us for a time while we are hopefully getting in a position to be able to buy it, assuming we would do the renovations. Why would he do the renovations for us when he could just keep it on the market and sell it to somebody? And he will, with all that's going on downtown. We got it just in time. With all that's going on downtown, even in that particular area, especially,
buildings are being bought quickly.
Yeah, it would go. It would go quickly. Yes. And for us to be able to buy it one day, within, let's say, a year or so, once we get in there, to be able to buy it for the same rate he was selling it for as is, after we've done all these, I mean, God's put it together.
Yes.
Whether you realize it or not, we're trying to explain it to you. Giving people the opportunity to understand it, but I don't know whether you'll understand it or not. But I'm going to tell you, God's put this together.
Yeah. Let me say, many people who know us now, they weren't around when we started the church, and they don't know that really we kind of had the same deal with the building we're currently in. He did not want to release it. He wanted to sell it. We came with an agreement that if he would lease it to us, we wouldn't bother him with any needs around the church. We'd take care of it. We wouldn't ask him to fix anything.
Mm-hmm.
And
then when we did need to fix some major things, he chipped in anyway.
Yeah. So we kind of have experience with taking those steps of faith and saying, okay, I'm just going to do this myself. If you'll agree to let us use the building.
Right, because we started that way, taking a step of faith. And I remember, if you remember this too, on the church anniversary last September, we met with a board after we had presented it to the church about this new building, renovating it. And one of our board members said, we were talking about, it is a step of faith, because I think I just got through telling them, look, there's a risk of doing all this work, renting the building, and if we're not able to buy it, another buyer could come along and it would be sold to them. So we said, this is a step of faith. So I think I was saying to the board, please pray with us. Please believe with us. This is a step of faith. But one of our board members said, well, if you hadn't started out by doing things by faith 13 years ago, we wouldn't be here today.
Right.
And I appreciated that. And I didn't take it as a great comment on our faith, but just that's what the work of God requires.
Right, exactly.
The work of God usually doesn't have all the money in place or all the people or whatever other resources you need. But God requires faith.
Yes.
It's in the Bible. He sets up situations that require faith. That's why the Bible is able to say without faith it is impossible to please God. How could we please God if he never gave us situations that require faith? He gives us opportunities to please him.
Right.
He gives us opportunities to learn to trust him and obey him. So that's what we're doing. Is it always easy? No. Sometimes when you wake up in the middle of the night and you think about, we're in a time crunch now. We got to get in this building by the 1st of March.
Yeah.
I'll wake up in the middle of the night sometimes thinking about that and thinking about all the work. And, of course, when I'm half asleep, the devil tends to really put on some pressure then, and it seems like such an impossibility. But nothing's impossible with God. I have to finally get woke up and remember that nothing is impossible with God. And we're asking for people today, join your faith with ours by giving if you can. We need $20,000 to put in a heating and air system plus more.
Yes.
I don't think that much more over again, but we're going to need some thousands more to pay a general contractor, get some walls put up, finish some things up. But if we could get that heating and air in, what a chunk that would be. We've already financed the roof, and we got to pay for that. We got to be paying on it, but that's little by little. It's every month, so we can handle that hopefully. But a big chunk up front, which we don't have financing for the heating and air. And if we come down to the end of the day, and we don't have much toward that $20,000, I pray that's not going to happen. I pray God's going to give us a miracle, speak to a heart of somebody who can really help a lot, or multiple people who can. But if somebody comes in and says, you know what, I'll loan you that money, interest-free maybe, for a period of time, we'll talk to you about that. But we just need your help. We need your faith. You may not fully, you don't know exactly what God said to us, and I don't expect you to feel that the way that we do. But it is God's work. I'm not asking you to make me a place to go sell lemonade, okay? It's not about a place for me to go do this or go do that. It's a place to minister the gospel from.
Right.
And you're benefiting from it by this radio station, whether here in Spartanburg on FM or whether online. You're being blessed. You're benefiting. We're asking you, join up with us for a new facility that's going to house the radio station, the church, the bookstore, the prayer room, et cetera, TV studio. The time is short.
Right.
The time is short that we have as the church to carry forth this gospel. And I heard Brother John Rosenstern saying it today early in the broadcast of Francis and Friends. He was talking about the great things that have happened in this country in the past year, all that President Trump has done, and to help. He didn't say it this way, but I believe President Trump has stood by Christianity more than any president I've ever seen in my lifetime. I thought about this the other day. It's probably been 30 years since I believe President Trump has the influence of a lot of evangelicals upon him. They're not always preachers that I listen to. Now Robert Jeffress, thank God, he's one of them.
Yeah.
And Franklin Graham. They're Baptist, but I believe in their ministries. I appreciate what they're doing. Now, there's some others I don't listen to, but I'd rather them be an influence on the president than an imam, okay, which is what we probably had before. But in my lifetime, I think the only other president probably that had evangelical influence upon him, similar to what Donald Trump has, would have been Ronald Reagan, and that would have been 30 years ago, because toward the end of his presidency, I don't think he was calling up preachers as much to get their advice on things as he did early on in his two-term presidency. So it's been 30 years since that's happened in this country, in my estimation, and God's blessing because of that. But Brother John Rosenstern was saying, what are we going to do with it? He said, when it was time to start rebuilding the temple, or rebuilding the wall and so forth, the people were starting to kind of look at their own personal things too much, and God sent a prophet, Haggai, to deal with that with the people. And basically, God said to those people, as he spoke to me years ago, if you'll take care of my business, I'll take care of yours.
Yeah.
So the question is, are we going to take care of God's business? And that's what Brother Rosenstern was speaking about. Taking care, what are we going to do with what resources we have and what God has blessed us? What will we do in these last days? I believe people that will give to this are participating in something that's going to be very, very significant. I'm not saying there's going to be thousands of people attending service there. There won't be, because there's not room. If there's thousands of people ever attending, we'll have to go rent somewhere. So I'm not talking about numbers, but it won't be numbers necessarily that we're going to see in a church meeting, in a sanctuary, but it's going to be numbers, Spartanburg and beyond, that we may never see the people, but they're being reached with the gospel because of the radio station, because of other outreaches that are going to take place. So I think it's a great thing to be a part of. Not talking about us, not patting us on the back, not asking for it for us, but it's the work of God. It's God's work. Yeah. As long as it remains God's work, then it's going to be something that's worthy for folks to be a part of.
Right. So with that being said, let me remind people you can give by going to WXPSFM.com and click on the donate link. Give us a call at 864-327-8725, or mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304.
All right.
And also I wanted to say, there may be people watching or listening today who maybe they're not able to give, maybe not able to give like significantly like we were talking about, but maybe they know someone. And maybe today, as they're watching and they're seeing all this and they're listening, and maybe it's going to be planted in their heart, hey, so-and-so, and if you go and talk to them, they'll give the money.
There you go. I'm glad you brought that out.
So, pray about that. Pray about if there's resources of that could help, please, go beseech people on our behalf.
Yes.
That this is something that is needed as we move forward. So to get back to the slideshow for those that are watching, my next slide is kind of a title slide for the next section, how the inside looked. Yes, it's a lot of work, but God. And I put, yes, it's a lot of work, because that's the response. Like I said,
Lord,
lot of people would get.
If I heard that one more time, I would scream. It's going to be a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. A lot of people that said it are not the people that's doing the work.
Oh, exactly.
But anyway, such is the mouths of human beings, because what's the Bible says, what's in the heart comes out of the mouth. And some would say, wow, this is going to be great. But then most would say, well, it's going to be a lot of work,
Yeah. And these first pictures I'm showing you are the initial pictures I took. The pictures I showed the board before they even toured it. The pictures I showed the church before any of them ever saw it. It's the pictures of it as is. And like I said previously, it was a tavern previously. And when the tavern left, they left it in a mess. They left their furniture, they left their cigarette butts, they left everything. And so yeah, you're going to see the mess. But be aware, we've come a long way since then.
And it's not going to be long till you'll be showing these pictures again with the finished pictures at the end, and that's really going to be something.
Yes, and it has come a long way already, and when we get through, it's really going to look a lot better. But as we walk through, we saw the mess, but we saw the potential. We saw what God could do through it. So here we go, as we are showing these, and I switched to the wrong slide, and we'll be explaining what you're seeing as we're going through for those that are watching. Here is the room that will be the sanctuary. It was initially the bar room. and you can see the bar in there, and I've got several pictures here showing the different views of it. And there was a bar downstairs and upstairs, and let me tell you, those things were monstrous to get out of there. And we'll talk more about that in a moment when we show cleanup pictures. But that was the inside. The room is not as wide as our current sanctuary, but it's a lot longer, and square footage wise, it is more square footage. Not a whole lot more, but still, it does give us a little bit more room, and so that's going to be good and exciting. They had mirrors on every wall in that building, and let me also say, those did not come down easily, but praise God they came down. But it was a doozy.
They were all glued to the walls, and it really concerned me about getting down those mirrors. I'm so glad nobody got hurt getting those mirrors down, because they'd come down in large, jagged pieces a lot of times.
I used a large crowbar, and I would stand far away from them and push it, and then just step back as it splattered on the ground. It was awful. Shattered. Yeah, thank you. And so it was something else. The picture you're seeing now is actually a hallway. That's a closet showing there. There's a small junk room closet. This is where we're actually going to put our library. It's going to clean up well, we've already got it a lot cleaner than it was. And then
they left their flowers and vases and all kinds of things from when it was a tavern.
And there's a bunch of furniture and stuff.
Pictures on the wall.
Yes, this is going to be the nursery area when we get it fixed. There's a little kitchenette, which we're tearing out all the counter and stuff because it's just nasty and dirty and just
Let me say
bad.
this. We're tearing that out because, like you said, it's really not usable.
Yeah.
But I don't think we are doing any work or expenditures that are not absolutely necessary.
Right.
I mean, we're not just, if we had, $500,000 to go in and hire somebody to say, hey, do this whole do everything, that would be nice, but we don't have that. And so we're going to make do with doing the things to have it clean and nice, but we're not making major changes to anything because it was laid out so well, which I'm sure you'll talk about.
Yes, I'll show
for our needs, and we're putting a few walls up, but other than that, we're not doing a whole lot. So we're doing bare bones minimum expenses as we do these things.
Right. Initially, our initial thing, as I'm showing these pictures, and this room actually is not junk. This is stuff that the owner belonged to him, and he has been taking it out little by little. But right now I'm just showing you, this is upstairs. These are some rooms that were already set as offices, and they'll still be offices. But you can see they left all the furniture behind. Our initial thing when we got in there was we ordered a dumpster to be brought to the building. And, we got the largest size dumpster they had, and we filled it full.
And we've done, what, 4 of them?
We've done 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yes. Plus...
there's the bar, the
plus
old bar
Jimmy,
upstairs.
Scott's brother, brought a trailer and filled it up. And actually, I was saying to Scott just the other day, we actually need him to take another trailer full to the landfill whenever he gets a moment, because even after we have taken several loads, as we've pulled down paneling and stuff like that, more stuff has added up. We've still got some more to take off, but we just mostly, and that's one of the nicest rooms. But there was a lot of stuff. So here, I've got here, there's the dumpster we ordered. You can see it's, what was it, 6 feet tall?
I think it's taller than that, but it was 20,
I know it's taller than me.
It was 20 cubic yards total.
Yeah, it was tall.
It was the biggest one they had.
We had them put it close to the deck so that we could stand on the porch and throw it over, because there was no way we could throw things in there from standing on the ground level. And we filled it full.
And then some nice person, the first time we had it, they came and opened the back door to see what they could get out of it, and left us quite a mess to clean up everything that slid out of it.
we had to push everything back in.
Some of that stuff's still there.
Some of it's still laying on the road, and we got to go out there with trash bags and pick it up. And here's a picture of when Joe came and helped us, him and Brother Chad. Joe actually jumped over into the dumpster and started bouncing on it to make it go down as far as he could so we could get the most use out of there, which I thought was hilarious. I couldn't have jumped over there. And I would have.
I wouldn't want to jump down in there if I could get over to it. I'd be afraid of a nail. But Joe didn't care. Joe just Joe just jumped right in.
Be careful, Joe. Be careful. There's nails in there.
Well, so Baton Rouge is not the only place that's got a jumping Joe. We've got our own jumping Joe, right?
Oh, yeah, we do.
He just jumped right in. And then on the right there is Jimmy's trailer. He took a couple loads to the landfill, like you said, and we'll be doing more, hopefully. I hope he's listening right now. And he'll know what we need him to do.
Yes, we need his trailer to come take stuff. So that's the initial thing was we just needed to clean out. And we did. And since then, we mostly have focused on cleaning, scrubbing, pine saw and cleaners and just getting things clean. My hope is that this weekend, my goal tomorrow is, and there were some things we really couldn't do a whole lot of good on cleaning because of the roof leaking, and we were waiting to get it repaired. Well, we got it repaired a couple of weeks ago now. So now
it's got totally redone.
Yes, redone. It was
brand new roof.
So now my goal is this weekend we're actually having a work day on Saturday, and my hope is that we can just really get in there and scrub the downstairs really good and get it clean, and by maybe even the following weekend, if not then by 2 weekends from now, start painting. And that's really going to change the look of it all. And then after that, we just need the general contractor.
Well, while that's going on, hopefully in the next few weeks, the general contractors, we're going to sign an agreement with him.
We need a general contractor to put up the new walls. Then we'll lay down the carpet, which we got a great deal on carpet squares from Brother Joe at the Habitat for Humanity. And so hopefully, all that should really come together in the next few weeks. And the pictures I'm showing today, will be totally different in a few weeks, and we'll have to come back and update these.
I would love to be able to come back and just take a special hour programming to give an update and not have to be raising money.
Right.
Wouldn't that be a blessing just to come back and say, folks, it's done. Here's what it looks like. If you can't come see it in person, we wanted to show you online, but not have to raise any money for that to be a done deal.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here today, though. We got to raise that money.
Yes. So besides the walls going up and the heating and air, that's our two major last expenses. Other than that, it's relatively little. We've already paid for, we'll talk more about this in a moment when we get to the outside. We've already paid for windows. We've already paid for doors. We've already covered a lot of the big expenses and down to just a couple of things. So I praise God for that. We're at a place where it could go really fast if the money is there. And that's what we need. We need that money not to be that barrier for us, but to just keep going, moving forward. So the first pictures I want to show you are the upstairs, the left side of the room. This is the big open room currently. The left side of the building. It's currently a big open room, and we are getting walls placed in there. And let me say this real quick before we move on to these pictures. One of the things we needed for the city was we had to have drawings done where we were adding walls. They said that we didn't have to draw the whole building, just the parts where we were adding walls, because they already have drawings on the building. So we had been trying to find someone who could do that for us, and we called and we talked to a man. He came out and right away started making sketches in his notebook and everything. And then when we got through, he was talking about what he would do. We were like, well, what's your price going to be? Because we were standing there thinking, we got to know if we can afford this before you start doing drawings. And he said, I tell you what, I'll just do it for free. And we were like, oh, praise God. Absolutely. That's wonderful. So we told him we would give him a letter for his taxes, tax purposes. But and he's already sent us one set of drawings that that he asked us what needed to be changed in it. There was like 2 or 3 little changes, and we were like, well, that's not exactly right, or that's not exactly right. And so he's going to fix those and send it back. I think he said sometime this week,
hopefully today.
So excellent. We were so pleased with that. But anyway, so this side is a portion where we do, and I keep hitting the wrong button. This side is the place where we will have walls placed up. Right here, you're going to see when there was a bar in that room, and yes, that's my kids helping to tear out the bar. And Elijah, let me say, he is 8 years old, and he put some muscle to that thing, and he ripped it apart. I mean, it was. I'll tell this, Joe, when he came, he took down the downstairs bar and he got it with the sledgehammer and he got it within a few swings. Well, me and the kids, we did the top bar and it took us more than a few swings, but we got it done. And that him and Gabrielle was in there just as much, pulling and using the crowbars to pull things apart, and Jeremiah, and we got it done. They'd get on one end, I'd get on the other end, and we would work it, and got the bar torn out from upstairs. And that was one of the first big things we had to do upstairs. And we also had some paneling that went all the way around the room. There was some brick paneling on the lower half of the room we went through. The kids helped there too, tearing out the paneling. We had to take all that to the dumpster. And let me say, they worked hard at carrying things downstairs, throwing things in the dumpster, getting it cleaned up. There's right there, you see Melissa there and Joe there. They were helping work. We've had people from the church come help clean. Melissa was cleaning the floor one day, and she was telling me about all the gum that she picked up off the floor. Working hard, getting it clean. And that's pretty much, we got it emptied there. That's a table of cleaning supplies you see there. And then
just for the
empty there.
Because this is for radio people, what they're looking at in that picture there, the right-hand side, not the whole area you're looking at, but I'd say about half of it. Part of that will be for a radio studio. The other part will be for a TV studio.
Yeah, and we got it where the windows are going to be in the background, and you can see the Marriott out of the window. You can see some trees that are real pretty out the window. So it's going to be a nice view outside the window for when we're sitting there on the TV set.
Yep.
We're sitting there recording, and
the walls will not be red and gray.
No, we're going to get that painted. And so that side's going to be the side with all that, and then the other side that I'm showing here, that's where we're going to add the walls for classrooms. We're going to actually put 3 classrooms up there and leave a hallway between them, headed to the back exit there, the back door. So that's our plan for up there. We've got it pretty much clean. We've just got to come in and paint and add the walls up there.
Got to do some cleaning, some patching of the walls. There's some holes in the walls.
Some places we've got to patch.
Then we've got to paint. And when that room gets painted, it's going to be a different place.
Yes.
It's going to be a different place. And with beautiful wood floors already, we're just going to clean those well. And then the other side of that upstairs is similar as far as the flooring, and you'll get to that in a minute, I know. But there we go, upstairs right side.
Yep.
It's looking good too.
The right side was already laid out with offices, which was perfect. And the layout, I mean, there's nothing we have to do as far as the layout. It's mostly just cleaning those areas and painting. There was carpet initially, which we had to tear out, and I'm going to show all that in a moment. And we've been cleaning it, and we got to finish doing the floors. I'll explain that in a moment and get it painted. But there's room for 2 offices or there's 5 rooms. And one office is going to be for Scott, one for me. There's going to be a meeting room, kind of a waiting room area as well for people waiting if they're there to see Scott, or if they need to have counseling, we'll meet with them or whatever in that meeting room. There's going to be the workroom where we'll have tracks and CD duplication taking place, because we're going to start back sending tracks and CDs to people all over the world. There'll be the recording room for recording our programs and recording liners and things like that, having a good place to go and record all that. So those rooms were already there. You can see in these pictures.
Before you go into the detail on that and show the pictures, let's give the contact information again.
Okay, you can give by going to WXPSFM.com and clicking on the donate link. And I hope you're keeping up with if anybody's giving there, because I can't talk.
I'm checking email. I'm having trouble getting to my email.
Okay,
so
well,
we need you to check.
I'll check in a moment. But you can give on there, or you can give by giving us a call at 864-327-8725. And or is that right? Yeah. And then Scott get to the phone, because I'm talking a lot right now. Or if he's not able to, then he will call you back. Just leave your name and telephone number. Or you can also give by sending a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. And we really need people to start giving and or letting us know that you're giving, even if you're not sending it right this moment. Give us just let us know that to expect it.
Right. You know, all it would take was one phone call from a person of good means who can give $20,000 or so. But we've only had 3 people give, and one of those got us off to a great start by giving yesterday. We've only had 2 give today so far. We've been on this thing almost 2 hours now, so we really need to hear from some folks.
Yes.
Like I say, I know one phone call could do it, but a lot of times the Lord has other plans, and He wants to bless multiple people doing their part, whatever they're able to do, whatever He lays upon their heart. So we really need for the phone to ring, really need for some PayPal donations to come in, and for some folks to come by or contact us and say, I'm going to mail in a gift. So, folks, please take us seriously. Please take the work of God seriously. She shows the layout of this building and what work's been done so far and tells you what each room is going to be used for and all that. I think you can the word today is transparency. I hear that word at work a lot. I hear it in the news about everybody needs to be transparent. Basically, it means be honest.
Mm-hmm.
We're being honest about how every square inch of space in this building is going to be used. And because of the way it's going to be used, it opens it up to be something that many people can be a part of, even if they don't call Truth Chapel their home church. But, you know, we've got listeners I think do call it their home church. We might not even know about them, but they listen to church services and everything else here on this radio station. And it is their church because they maybe can't get out, don't have a car, or they're disabled or whatever it may be. And others maybe just because they found this is the truth and they're not going to settle for less than the truth.
Yep.
And so all those folks, from the one that can give $1 to the one that can give $20,000, whether you're in Spartanburg or somewhere else, but again, especially Spartanburg people, please take this seriously and give us a call today.
Yep. So here's just a picture of some of the offices with the carpet that was in there. And first thing we did, of course, after getting all the furniture out of there, was we ripped that up and then began scrubbing and cleaning it. It had like some kind of foam that was stuck all over it, and we got a sander we got one that didn't do too well, and Scott tried cleaning it with that. Then we ended up having to get another sander later. But you can see this is the process of the floors coming clean. You know, that was what the first sander did, which was like, okay, this is better than what it was. And we were excited when we saw that there was hardwood floors. We were so excited because we were initially thinking we have to get new carpet, but when we saw that, we were like, no way, we're keeping these wood floors exposed. So at first we were kind of like, okay, well, this may be as good as it gets, but then we got another sander and you can see how pretty the floors turned out. That was really exciting, and we're still got to finish up around the edges and finish it up, but come a long way. All that's really left over there is to finish the floors and to paint.
And kind of like I said on the other side, it's going to look a completely different building once you finish sanding the edges of those floors and we put some sealer down and then paint those walls. That part of the building is going to be done.
Yep.
And it's going to be like a different place. I can't wait for the owner of the building to see it when we get that part done. He's been very impressed with everything that's happened so far.
Yeah, sometimes he comes by and walks around and looks.
Yeah, and he's really he called us, you're going to get to this in a minute too, the Christmas displays within the windows. He called me one day and I answered the phone. He said, Scott, your windows look great. And I said, well, thank you. And he just kind of bragged on them, and he said, well, God bless you and Merry Christmas. And so I like for him to like the progress that's being made too. And I think when he sees the upstairs, hopefully in just a couple of weeks, when those things get done, I think he's going to be like, wow, I can't believe this building turned out this way.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's Laura cleaning the bathrooms. I haven't really showed pictures of the bathrooms. We do have bathrooms. I just didn't really think about showing the pictures of them. But we have bathrooms downstairs and we have bathrooms upstairs. And Laura and several others worked upstairs. I think Melissa did and Angel did. And they scrubbed those bathrooms. And I scrubbed some bathrooms. And maybe even Elijah might have helped me in one of the bathrooms. But been scrubbing those bathrooms to get them nice and clean. So that's upstairs. Downstairs, the right side of the building is going to be where the future bookstore is, the prayer room, the nursery, and the church library. And then there's also bathrooms on that side of the building as well. So here we go. This was after we started cleaning out the furniture in there. And here, there's Jimmy and Scott pulling up some carpet that was there next to the kitchen area. They pulled down the shelf that was around the whole room, and here we go, them pulling at the carpet. That thing was glued down, and they struggled with it, but they got it up. And over the side, you see Taylor pulling out. I think I told him to pick out the tacks out of the walls and things like that because they had tacks everywhere. I think they had some kind of party.
That's Joe trying to shovel up the carpet, and that's Destiny. And who is that with Destiny?
Melissa.
Okay, so there, and they said that was, and like you just said it too, that was some tough. That was glued down.
That was. I actually went over and tried to pull on it. Somebody, I felt like I wasn't doing anything. It didn't seem to move. I was like, I don't think I'm accomplishing anything over here. So, but they got it.
They did.
There's a picture of it when they got it pulled up. So that was the right side. Again, really all that's left over there on that side is clean and paint. And then we are going to be putting up walls because as you notice those rooms, it's basically rooms with 3 walls, and then the hallway has there's no hall. I mean, there's a hall, but it's not walled in. Does that make sense?
No, to somebody that hasn't been there, that probably doesn't make a bit of sense. Basically, when you walk down the so-called hallway presently, you've got a wall on the left side, and then you've got open rooms to your right.
Yes.
So we're going to put walls up on so that you walk into those rooms through a door.
Yes, exactly.
Is that saying it right?
Exactly. Right. So that's one of the things that we have the general contractor doing is placing up basically 3 walls downstairs. One that's going to be the end of the bookstore wall, and then another wall that's going to be the prayer room wall, and then another wall where the nursery is going to be. The library's already is completely walled in, so we don't have to do anything in that room except for there is a little opening in the wall we got to patch over, but nothing major in that room. Clean and paint. That's all that's really left downstairs. And so those who are planning on coming to our church work day.
That's true. But cleaning and painting are big jobs.
Yes.
You make it sound real easy, but we really need help tomorrow.
I know,
every other work day.
Yes.
We really need help.
I was saying to somebody the other day, I said, sometimes people, you look at something and you think, oh, well, there's not much to be done. But when you get to look at you see the tacks in the wall. You see the nail holes that really just need a little mud.
The detail work now is
placed over to cover up these little holes here and there. It's not like, oh, let me go in and knock, when Joe came in with a sledgehammer and knocked some stuff down, and it was like, whoa, major changes.
You see a lot of progress there, but then the detail work is very time consuming.
It's very time consuming. So we need tomorrow, for those that are planning on coming and working, or maybe you were thinking, oh, they don't really need me. Well, yeah, we do. We really need somebody to go through, like I said, pull out tacks at places, patch up these holes, go with the sponge mop and just wash the walls up and down, because we want to get rid of all the dirt and filth that's there.
And what about people listening locally? They don't go to Truth Chapel, but they say, hey, I could come down there and spend a few hours Saturday.
Come with the sponge in hand and be ready.
Well, no, I was going to say, be willing to whatever tool we put in your hand, be willing to do that. I mean, if you're physically able to do it. But if we hand you a mop, don't be insulted. If we hand you a broom, don't be insulted, or a sponge. Don't be insulted. That's what we need doing right now. And then in a week or two, we hope to be able to hand you a roller or a paintbrush.
Yes.
If you're a good painter, we can't just do it any old way. It's got to be good. But if you're able to, everybody's able to clean just about. I mean, unless you're really disabled. And then some are able to do a good job painting. So please don't. A few people have said they'll come, and some of them are from out of town, and I need to call them whenever we get serious with the painting. But others, if you're here locally, I mean, please don't wait on a special invitation. This is your invitation.
Yes.
10 to 2 tomorrow, and then we'll announce the next work day sometime after that. We need you.
Yes.
We not only need donations today, we need some of your time and effort.
Yes, and we want to get things scrubbed and cleaned as good as can be, because we don't want to put paint on dirt, so we got to get it all cleaned up well in order to paint in the next week or two.
I mean, we just feel better about the whole building if we put some bleach and some water and did the floors and walls or whatever, something that kills germs and that makes it smell better.
Yep.
I just don't want to cover nasty things up with paint, like you said.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing what we're doing. We're trying to do it right.
Yeah.
Not taking a lot of money to clean good. It's going to take some time and some effort on the parts of some folks. And if me and you do it, if we do all of it, and I know that's not going to be true. I know at least one person I know of that's coming tomorrow, probably 2 at least. But let's say we did if it was just you and me, it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
But if you multiply that by 3 or 4 times that many people, we can do it in a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, some of the times that people have been there helping us clean, like Melissa and Laura, you know, they were on their hands and knees scrubbing things. I mean, it wasn't just a, you know, walk through with a dust mop and you know you're through. It was, you know, it was deep cleaning, and that's what we need. We need some deep cleaning to take place in order to get things in the shape that they need to be.
All right, you're listening to WXPS FM 92.1, and let's give the contact information again before you do the downstairs left side.
You can give by going to WXPSFM.com and click on the donate link, and we'll be notified of that gift. Or you can give by mailing a check or money order to P.O. Box 1904, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. But if you're going to do that, please also give us a call and let us know what you are sending. And you can call at 864-327-8725. And you can also use that number to call and give via credit or debit card. If you don't get an answer right away, just leave your name and number and we'll call you back. And let me also urge you that we urge you to give whatever amount that you are able to do to be a part of this. But even if you aren't able to give maybe significantly so, or maybe not at all, but maybe you know someone, you know that they could do something, you know that they could be a part of this, we urge you to reach out to them and ask them to be a part of this. And we're really wanting to reach out to Spartanburg people, asking people in Spartanburg, as we're getting to the outside, I'm going to tell some stories of what we've been experiencing lately as we've been working outside. People have been driving by, people have been walking by, they've been noticing. Well, if you're one of those that you've been noticing, now it's time to not just notice, but to be a part of the giving.
And it's one of the reasons I felt led to do this today is because we've had something out there for people to notice for the last few weeks. Prior to that, we were doing work on the inside exclusively, and people didn't see much change on the outside. But now that we've replaced glass on the outside downstairs, decorated for Christmas, put a banner up, people are noticing that. We've done some painting outside. People are noticing that, and it's an opportunity for people that have ridden by and said, well, hey, something's going on there. And some have even said to us, I'm glad it's a guy. Well, I didn't tell you about this. As I was working there yesterday, a guy came to the back door who works next door, and I never had met him. He said he's the owner of that realty company or whatever it is. He said, this is great. This is great. I'm glad you're putting a church here. And I had paint all over me and didn't really even feel like talking, so we didn't talk for long. But people are noticing, and they're appreciative of something going into that building that's 100 years old. Glad to see something good going in. And for those that have ridden by and thought, well, okay, that's nice. I'm glad a church is coming here. Here's your chance to be a part of it.
Yep.
And help put us there.
Yeah. And also, like we said at the beginning, it's not just a church. It's not just a Sunday, Wednesday, open-only church, you know. The bookstore is going to be open all week. The prayer room is going to be open all week. You know, it's going to be something that's going to be an active part of the community. We plan anytime there's something going on downtown that we are able to come and do some kind of outreach at the same time. I mean, assuming that it's going to be in our vicinity, to be a part of that. We plan to do things on the street as far as like Brother Billy Douglas giving out the Bibles that time. You know, we are going to be an active part of the community, not just a building that stays empty all week. And we want to, we've been saying this for a while now, but I'm sorry, but work constraints on my part of a secular job and renovating this building has kept me from doing it yet. But we want to do a noontime radio program that really concentrates on Spartanburg. Now, those of you that listen elsewhere, and this is a gospel station, don't think it's going to cut into the regular program. It's not. This is be an additional program that we'll be adding. Normally it's just music between noon and 1, but we want to do mostly a talk program during that time where we talk about what's going on in Spartanburg, as long as it's good and decent and family oriented. It may not be the gospel per se, but if they're having a festival downtown that's family oriented, it's good to bring your kids to and your spouse, so forth, then we want to talk about it and interview the people that are involved in it and making it happen. And I mean, that right there is reason for other people here in Spartanburg to get on board with us and help make it possible for us to be downtown, to be in the midst of all those things, and have a place for people to come to be interviewed that's easy for them to get to. And I mean, the list is longer than what we've got time to talk about, is all the reasons why so many different people from different walks of life, different income levels or whatever, why they should be a part of this. Right. Because it just
benefits and blesses people in a whole lot of different ways.
Right. Yep. Amen. All right, so for those who are watching and want to see the pictures of the downstairs area that's going to be the sanctuary, we're going to start showing those next. This room, you know, one of the things we had to do initially was pull down the drop ceiling.
Not getting any volume from you.
One of the things we had to do initially was pull down the drop ceiling in there, and that's why some of the ductwork is hanging down in that picture. Not anything wrong, it's just because the drop ceiling we took out. Cleaned out the bar. Again, like I said before, Joe came and did that for us, knocking down the bar for us. And the mirrors, we went through and pulled all the mirrors down. They shattered everywhere, but we got them down and swept all the glass pieces out of there. There's pictures showing Brother Chad down there working, getting everything cleaned up and cleaned out. And so a lot of work, a lot of cleaning. We still have some things that need to be done there. They pulled down a sound area that they had in there. Mm-hmm. And that's what it. I know those are kind of dark pictures because I took them at night when we were down there working. But that's what the inside kind of currently looks like, just completely open and empty now. We still have some wiring to work around, but mostly just get it clean and get it painted. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be ready to build a platform in there and ready to put carpet in there. And and I can't wait to show you the after pictures when it's all done. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we're at on the inside. Now the outside, we did start doing a little stuff on the outside. We put up a banner with the church name because we wanted people to be able to know that we were coming and to start anticipating us.
That was before we did any painting. We still got the old ugly gray.
Yes, we did that several weeks.
There.
We did that before the Christmas parade. Our goal was really to have a lot more done on the front before the Christmas parade, but there was delays, as we tend to have, of different things happening. But since then, we were able to get. I mean, back then you went ahead and hung wreaths on the top windows for people to see.
Only could do 4 out of the 6 windows because one of the windows on the end didn't open, so we didn't want to do an odd-looking thing, so we did 4. Yeah. But that's about to change because those windows are about to be replaced.
Yes. And here Scott is trying his best. The old sign was still hanging there, and he's trying his best to get it down, and he couldn't. I don't have a picture of him when he actually got it down, but my suggestion was that he pulled, because he couldn't get to it because of the height of it. He couldn't get to it easily, and my suggestion was that he get his brother to bring his truck and let him get up in the back of the truck on a ladder to get to it, and I believe that worked, correct?
Yeah, I think that was one Sunday night, wasn't it? A week or two ago. We finally got the ugly, ungodly Ferguson's Tavern banner down.
Yes.
Half of it had fallen down, but then we still had to get the word Ferg off of there with,
and there was a wine glass
with a wine glass. I hated that being up there along with our banner, but so it was after the parade, unfortunately, but we finally got it down, and so there's a little small one on the side of the building now we got to get down, but not on the front anymore. Yep. So thank the Lord for that.
And there our kids are again painting, and there's Scott painting, and we got the front painted white. We still, I think, need to do a second coat on that, and do the touching up the minor stuff, but we got the front started painting white. And we had to put the banner back up. We got the glass company out to replace the glass on the downstairs windows because it was just really bad looking. And then the same person is coming back later to replace our 6 windows upstairs. We've already ordered and paid for those.
And those will be just solid glass upstairs. They're going to have white frames around them, though, which will match nicely with the white wood that we painted.
Yes.
And so when you see that I hope in the next week or so, that's really going to make a difference on the front of the building.
And there you can see we decorated the windows. We put the nativity set in those 2 windows. One has the wise man, the other one has the nativity. And then we hung some nice Christmas wreaths up, and there we have the cross in that window with poinsettia flowers around it.
It's that cross that Butch made for us, and we have used that cross in a lot of different. We use it here in our lobby all the time, but now it's downtown. We've used it in the parade, and now we're using it in the window there for the Christmas season.
We hung up, and we have ordered new doors.
which are supposed to be in a couple of weeks, and unfortunately we'll have to wait for the general contractor to put them up. But
still, I hope that'll be within a week or two.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
And these are going to be nice. They're not actually wood, but they're fiberglass doors that have a wood look to them. They have a wood grain appearance. They're mahogany because that matches the brick well. They've got a narrow piece of glass down the middle of the door. They're going to be beautiful outside of. It's going to add so much.
And there's a church lit up at night
Mhm.
after we got it all decorated. And here's one during the day when you might not see the lights as well.
So imagine that picture with to think about what the front's going to ultimately look like. 6 windows on the top being replaced, brand new doors. The word Photo Works will be removed or covered somehow, and the awning you see on the right side will be removed, and we'll have a nice, probably canvas awning that goes all the way across the front of the building. So it will be like night and day compared to what we started with.
Yeah, and that's the banner that we have up is just a temporary thing. We're going to have on the above the top floor windows is where it's going to say True Chapel. And then below those top floor windows is where it's going to say bookstore and radio station.
And we've got the lettering we bought already to do that.
Yep.
We bought that about a month ago, I guess. It's going to be reverse lit for those that know what halo lighting means, or reverse lit lighting on signs. You'll appreciate that. And, of course, we got to get the city's permission for all of it, but I think we'll be able to do what we've talked about doing, and it's going to be very, very noticeable and look very pretty out there to have that sign up.
Yep. But it's already looking good. And as I was sharing earlier, as we've been out there working on the sidewalk with painting and hanging banners and stuff like that, or even when we were inside, I will notice people, like after we put the nativity set in the window, and one day we were inside the sanctuary working, and I just glanced out the window, and I saw this guy walking by, and he was on his phone, and he was walking by. And, of course, his eye level was the windows, and he glanced at them, and then he, stopped and kind of pulled back, and then he starts looking up like he's trying to see what's going on, and he saw the banner, and he's walking past the building on his phone, turning his whole body around, looking up, and I was like, well, he's noticing. He's not. I mean, if it hadn't been for those windows, he may have just walked by and not looked, but because that window caught his eye, he was like, oh, something's going on here, and so he looks up and starts reading the banner, and we've had others. We were out there one day recently, and a man just.
Before you tell that, look, we're listening to WXPS LP FM 92.1 in Spartanburg, South Carolina. A couple of minutes after 2 o'clock, you're listening to our special fundraiser today for our building at 250 and 252 North Church Street. Things are coming along as Nikki's talking about, so go ahead and pick up from there.
One day we're standing out there, and some man just stops by and just starts, commenting on the painting and saying, looking good. And I think one day we had a lady, she was a employee of Krispy Kreme, who was walking by, and she stopped and started talking to us about the church and saying that, when we get moved downtown, she'd love to come and join us. And she was asking us questions. She said she didn't really want to be in a large mega church type thing, and so she was asking questions and saying she's going to come join us when we get down there. And I think there'll be others that are like that. They're down there working, and they'll say, hey, well, there's a church right there I'll go to. And we've commented before with the Marriott across the street. I think there'll be people traveling through town who would just say, hey, I can go to church this Sunday right across the street. And
or just walk across to the bookstore if it's a weekday.
Yeah, exactly. And one day you were there working, and you said you looked up, and this man had gone in, and
I looked up, and there was
out.
a man coming out of the building, and I probably gave him a look like, what are you doing? He said, I thought the bookstore was open. I said, not yet. Come see us in maybe February sometime. That might be a little bit optimistic. March, though.
Yeah. And so
then he didn't say anything. He just walked off, so I don't know if he was mad or what.
And then the probably my favorite story was they were there working and we're painting, and Scott's up on the ladder painting. I'm down talking, probably telling him he missed a spot or something. But down there talking, and Jeremiah and Gabrielle are, if you are, they were over in the little section that kind of goes inward painting, and whereas Scott and I were on that part that's outward painting.
Go back to the picture again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So those that are looking, the one that has the two doors that's kind of pushed in, that's where Gabrielle and Jeremiah were working, and we were over there where the banner is working. And so anyway, this lady goes walking by, and she has a radio on, and I hear it, and it's like, in my mind, I kind of think, well, that sounds kind of like Matthew, but I at the moment I'm talking, and it's like, you know how you hear something and it kind of registers, but it doesn't register, and that's how it was for me. Well, then Scott turns around, and she was already at this point going past Jeremiah and Gabrielle. He turns around and looks at me, and he said, "Is that Matthew?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think that is Matthew." And then at that moment, Gabrielle and Jeremiah poke their heads out, and they go, "That was Matthew." And so what was happening was the lady had sound. This was on a Saturday. The lady had Sound of Truth radio playing on her radio, and that was during Matthew's time slot that his program airs. And so, and she just walked right on by and didn't even notice us or anything. I mean, notice that this is, you know, the future home of Sound of Truth Radio. She just walked on by. But it was like, that's amazing to be down here working and hear somebody walking by with the radio station playing on their radio. And so that excited me, because I think there's going to be people like that who are going to be like, oh, you know, they're here, they're downtown now, and you know, come out and see us. And it's been exciting every day that we're down there and we're outside, especially the people that we get to kind of meet and greet. It always leaves me just even more excited about our move down there.
Right.
I don't know about you, but
yeah,
it's been
very
good.
encouraging. Very,
Been good.
The lady listen to the radio station, that was encouraging, to say the least.
Yes, yes. So so back to the pictures. So there we are. The next set of pictures, I forgot I had these two. This is just kind of a close-up again of both sides. The next set of pictures is from prayer meetings. Since we've been down there working on Fridays, if we're down there and working on Fridays, we always tell people that after we get through working, we'll take time for prayer. And here's some pictures from those prayer meetings. We've had, again, as we said, we've had some powerful prayer meetings as we have been down there, and people bringing all kinds of needs, but also specifically praying for the new church facility, praying that every need be met, praying that the funds come in, praying that, you know, we had times when we were having trouble getting, we had a roof company who just never came through. They told us they would, and they never came through, and we had them just seeking the Lord concerning this, and then we were able to find another roof company who came out much more quickly, gave us a much better rate, and even had financing. So, you know, I believe in God's people, you know, going before him. You know, it's not a works thing. It's the thing of sometimes, you know, God is waiting on us to believe him, waiting on us to, you know, surrender it to him. And as we've had these prayer meetings and we have surrendered things to him, we have turned it over and just said, Lord, we're believing you. God keeps providing. God has been mightily in these prayer meetings, and I'm believing that soon we're going to be downtown. And when we get down there, I cannot wait. I cannot wait, one, to come back and show you the pictures of what things look like. But I also can't wait to come back and tell you what God's done since we've been down there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to show you the results of this work. So for people in Spartanburg, and the picture now is of us in the Christmas parade, we've had a sign announcing that we were moving. For people in Spartanburg, understand, you know, a lot of things move downtown. A lot of businesses are coming downtown. Right now, it's called, Rise Again Spartanburg? Is that the big theme, or Rise something?
One of the mayoral candidates used a similar theme, so we don't want to mix it up. I think his theme was Rise as One.
Rise as One. There's something about
I think it's
Spartanburg Rise.
See Spartanburg Rise. That's right. That's
I see that theme around all the time. I see the hashtag all the time. See Spartanburg Rise. And they're always talking about this business is coming or that business is coming, and how great this is going to be, how great that's going to be. Well, they haven't yet said anything about True Chapel coming, and maybe they haven't noticed. And that's fine if they never notice. I mean, it's fine if they never want to announce True Chapel's moving. But whether people see it or not, True Chapel moving downtown is more important than
That's
any
right.
of these other things that's moving downtown
That's
because
right. And
of what we provide.
People would laugh at that statement, but it is the truth. And I would say that about any church that is downtown or is coming downtown that's really giving people the truth.
Right.
It's the most important thing. It's more important than any restaurant. And I love restaurants. You know, we've been to a couple of them down there, maybe just one. That doesn't. There's one that doesn't sell alcohol. We've been to that one a few times. You know, clothing stores. I was one of the first building we looked at down there a year ago. I would love to see a big department store come in there, kind of taking back to the old days of. I mean, that would be so. All that is great in its place, but it's nothing compared to bringing people the gospel.
Right.
And like you said earlier when we first started a couple hours ago, there's everybody from the homeless to the money, the attorneys that have a lot of money, and businessmen, business owners, and everybody in between, just the average middle class person like we are. They all need to be reached with the same gospel. So this work, see, some of the restaurants are only for people that can spend a lot of money to go out to eat.
Yep.
There are other things that they're more for everybody. But you know, each one has like appeals to maybe a particular segment of society. But if it's truly the gospel, it's for everybody.
Right.
And this is going to be for everybody because it is a true gospel. Always has been at Truth Chapel. By the grace of God, always will be. And so this is more important than anything else that's going on in downtown Spartanburg. The Herald Journal may not ever choose to do it, and maybe they will. I hope they do, because we won't be honest. We want the publicity because that may be the thing that makes somebody step up and say, "Hey, I want to come to that church. I want to listen to that station. I want to donate to help it happen or whatever." So we would welcome that. We'd love that. But even if they don't, you don't go by what the world says about you, but you go by what God has called you to do.
Right.
And it's God.
Right.
It's God's work.
So we have a goal today of $20,000, and we're at $370,000. We're not very far.
We need to do some work, folks.
But you know, whether we make that $20,000 today or not, I believe God's got it. God has it.
Amen.
But here's the thing:
that.
God uses people. God, even though God could supply it any way He wanted, you know, it was Peter who went fishing and found gold the coin in the mouth of the fish when it was needed. God can provide it any way He wants to, but His primary way is through people.
That's right.
And so we're coming out to the people, whether you're listening on the radio here in Spartanburg, whether you're listening online, whether you're watching online, watching on Roku, whatever the method may be. We're calling out to you. We're saying, would you please consider praying about being a part of this, or again, going on behalf of us, someone else, and saying, look, this is what they're doing. It's not about us. You know, honestly, Scott and I, and this isn't to pat us on the back, but I just want you to understand how into this. We have been at that building almost every day since we have gotten it, except for, you know, we don't go on Sundays usually, and we you know, have had some days that were family days that we didn't go, but we're down there. You know, we have work days with the church typically on Fridays and Saturdays, but we're there throughout the week working. All that furniture that got thrown in the dumpster, 99% of it got thrown in there by Scott and I. And that's not to pat us on the back. I'm just wanting the listeners to understand we've done everything we can.
And we've given personally, financially to it. And I think you're just saying we don't ask people to do what we don't do ourselves.
Yes.
We're not saying, hey, we're going to sit back here and watch everybody work, or we're going to sit back and watch everybody else give.
We don't just sit on the radio and ask for money and then let everybody else do the work. We're in there as much as anybody, if not more.
There was a couple of radiothons ago, we gave a very significant amount in the building fund during that radiothon. It was probably maybe close to half of what was given in the building fund that time was what we gave. So we don't ask you to do something that we aren't doing ourselves. At the same time, however, if somebody can give a few $1,000s today or more, I can't do that personally, but there's somebody who can.
Yeah.
But I've given what I can, and that's all that God is expecting of any of us is what He tells us to do, what He provides for us.
Yeah, and you know, again, it's not about providing a place for us to have more of something for Truth Chapel, but it's really about the missions, because
I'm glad you brought up about the fellowship hall. I mean, if the building was big enough to have a fellowship hall, that would be fine. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all, because I like fellowship. I think it's important for churches to do that, but there's not room for a fellowship hall unless we said, let's don't worry about the radio station studio that much. Let's don't worry about TV that much. Let's don't even worry about, let's have a fellowship hall. But we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
We're going to do what is going to reach souls.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a good example of why this work is, we're being honest about it. We can gladly say that we're doing what we're doing. We don't have to hide. We got these few rooms over here we're going to be using just to cater to our church people or whatever. Again, that wouldn't be wrong necessarily, but we don't have space for that, and we're okay with not having space for that. We want it for outreach, and that's why everybody can get involved in this and feel good about it if they don't go to Truth Chapel, or if they don't even live in Spartanburg.
Yeah, yeah. And, some of the things we also hope in the future is to have someone there translating the services into Spanish, and there's room. We can make double use of some of those rooms, like the library. We can make double use of to make it a place for somebody to do that.
And I wish we were already doing that, at least in Spanish, but we just don't have the person yet. Whoever God is going to choose to do it, they're not here yet, I don't think, but I believe they're coming.
Yeah,
I believe that's why I'm glad you brought that up. We're not doing it yet, but this building is going to make it possible to translate this into different languages, and we may air it later on the radio in that language, or it may be some kind of simulcast for online listeners. I'm not sure exactly how we'll do it, but it's going to be to reach everybody we can, even if they don't speak English.
Right, amen. So we need your help. We've got 370, which is a great start, but we've been here 2 hours, and we really need more to be given. We need to be able to move forward soon in getting the heating and air replaced, and because we need to be there, but we have to be there by the 1st of March. Prayerfully even sooner, but we have to be there by the 1st of March, because that's when our lease starts there. And to be honest, we can't afford a lease in 2 locations.
No, we can't keep having church here and staying here and be paying lease. That's one of the ways the owner helped us greatly, and he offered to make it March 2018. I'm glad he did.
I know, because when he said March, I thought we won't be that.
Oh
long.
yeah, I was thinking, sir, we'll be in there by early January, but obviously it hasn't happened because I think the Lord used him in that situation. Because the Lord knew there'd be delays, and there'd be people that would tell us they do things and they didn't do it. In the meantime, we wasted a month or two waiting on them. And we didn't know it was going to be that way, but God did. And so, but March is the cutoff point. We got to be in there by March, and it's a lot of work to do. It's a lot of money to spend, and it's a lot of approval we got to get from the city. So it's got to be done the right way in order to start having church in there. Even if we wanted to get in there and just do radio, we'd have to have their approval to be able to do that. It'd be like a little small approval compared to the big thing that would have to come later for the church. But we can, we've got to be out of here. We got to be in there by the 1st of March. That's 2 months, and that's 2 months goes by quickly. And so, and imagine, it's going to be so great to be in there right when spring is starting. The spring weather, spring activities, and all that.
More opportunities to meet people on the street.
I don't expect everybody to be maybe as excited as we are, because they're not involved with it every moment of every day like we are, and God didn't tell them to do it. But I do believe God's telling you be a part of it by giving and by praying. And so there should be I'm excited for anybody that's truly taking the gospel to people, no matter who they are. If I can trust it and know that it's true and it's right, that's exciting to me. And so we do ask for that kind of excitement from our own church people and from those who are listening today.
Yeah, we covet prayers.
Yes, very much so. And I know folks have been busy listening, and I hope they have, to everything you've had to say and all you've presented. But now we really need you to get on the phone and give all that contact information again. And I'm going to get a song ready. We'll go to that and take a little break. We're about almost halfway through the total time we're going to spend here today. We're at 2:18 Eastern Time. At 2:30, we're at the halfway mark because we're doing a total of 5 hours. We'll be here till 4. Then we're coming back from 5 till 6. And so that means soon we're going to start that presentation over again, right? And I'm just kidding. Now, I do want to go through it again, but maybe not as much detail this time, because somebody's going to be tuning in later that missed it the first time. And, of course, they'll be able to go to the archives of this on social media and get it too. But anyway, give the contact information again, and let's go to a song, and then we're going to come back.
You can give by going to WXPSFM.com and clicking on the donate link. Or you can mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. And if you're going to do that, though, give us a call and let us know that you're sending a donation at
8725. And you can also use that number to call and give via credit or debit card. And we encourage you to do so, to call and let us know if you want us to meet you somewhere, or if you want to give anonymously or anything like that. We welcome you to do so.
We need to hear from you, and we are doing just that. We are waiting to hear from you. Thank you.
I'm going home with Jesus in the twinkling of an eye. I made my reservation for a mansion in the sky. I may not know the moment, or I may not know the day, but I know that I'll be leaving when he calls his church away. I'm going home with Jesus in the twinkling of an eye. I made my reservation for a mansion in the sky. I may not know the moment, or I may not know the day, but I know that I'll be leaving when he calls his church away. I'm going home with Jesus in the twinkling of an eye. I made my reservation for a mansion in the sky. I may not know the moment, or I may not know the day, but I know that I'll be leaving when he calls his church away. I'm listening for the trumpet to sound most any time, and a crown of life is waiting. Thank God will soon be mine. I got my
Anywhere is home. The Family Worship Center Resurrection Choir on FM 92.1 WXPS. Good afternoon. It's 24 minutes now after 2 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm Scott Corbin here with Nikki today with a special fundraiser on FM 92.1 Sound of Truth Radio and Vision of Truth. And I just want to give the contact information again right quick, and we're going to go to another song. Just a reminder, we are preempting most of the regular programming this afternoon, so you will not hear Ladies of Faith at 2:30 as you normally do, but we will be going at 4 o'clock to Brother Tony Hare with the Associate Minister's broadcast. He does have a brand new program for today, so we're going to air that at 4 o'clock, and then we'll be back for just about home time from 5 to 6 o'clock. We will also be continuing during that this special fundraiser. We need your help to get us located at 250 North Church Street, downtown Spartanburg. We've got 2 more months to finish the renovations and get there. And a big part of those renovations, in addition to all the volunteer work that's going on the part of us here at Truth Chapel, we've got to pay Pearson's Heating and Air to come in and do the heating and air systems. And they've given us a price of approximately $20,000 to do that, and it's a good deal. And we're buying 3 brand new units. And we're having to cover 5,000 square feet of space to heat and to air condition. And so they're the ones we're going to be working with. We're looking forward to working with them. And we need $20,000 to do that. So if you can help out with that today, that's why we are here. Our phone number is 864-327-8725. Please call that number if you would like to donate via debit or credit card over the phone. And then you can also call that number to tell us you're going to mail in a gift or to talk to us on the phone if you'd like to about meeting you somewhere to receive a donation from you, or meeting you here or at the downtown location maybe, or just answering any questions that you may have. Again, that number is 327-8725. Our mailing address, and please make any checks or money orders payable to Truth Chapel. Post Office Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. And then last but not least is the website, WXPSFM.com. If you'd like to donate safely and securely via the PayPal system there, we invite you to go there now and make that donation. We're at 370 right now. We've got a ways to go. I believe God's got some people out there, though, that He's wanting to use today, and He's going to bless you back if you'll bless His work today. So let us hear from you. We're waiting on your call.
Behold, Jehovah, seated on the throne. Abba, Father, the well that overflows, the God who was and is and shall be forevermore. Holy is the Lord. Amen.
Oh, the word has a name, and it's Jesus. Redemption has a name, and it's Jesus. Holiness has a name, and it's Jesus. Victory has a name, and it's Jesus. The word has a name, and it's Jesus. Redemption has a name, and it's
Praise the Lord. Everything you need is found in Jesus and what he did on the cross. Tara, come back and sing that verse. Redemption has a name, Jesus.
Amen.
the way, the truth, and the life. Perfect Savior, the blood that washed us white, the God who
is Terramont Pettit and Brian Haney, and I'm in on FM 92.1 WXPS. It's 23 minutes now before 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today on this special time of live broadcasting. We're doing some fundraising this afternoon, or attempting to. We're at $370. We need some help, folks. We need some phone calls to come in and some people to get on the website and donate via PayPal. We're moving, as the sign said there on the screen just before Nikki switched our cameras on. We are relocating to 252 North Church Street in downtown Spartanburg, and we are renovating the building now. I have been for the past few months, and we're coming down to needing some final money to really make this thing happen. We're asking anybody who feels led to please help, but especially people in Spartanburg who have become acquainted with the fact that we're locating there soon. You've driven by the location, you've seen the banner, you've seen the Christmas displays maybe, and maybe you've just now tuned in for the first time over the past couple of weeks to 92.1 FM. We want you to know we are a Spartanburg radio station. We've been on the air almost 3 years. We're broadcasting from our little small studio on South Pine Street right now in Spartanburg. And we're going to be moving and broadcasting from downtown Spartanburg, from the North Church Street building very, very soon. And we need your help to make that possible. For some who maybe we're still new to you, I've just found an article here. We'll maybe talk more about this during just about home time between 5 and 6. We're not going to take a lot of time for anything like this today because we're here to try to raise the funds. But this gives you an idea of, in addition to preaching the gospel, why this radio station, I believe, is so important. It's an article like this that we share a lot of times, especially during the 5 to 6 p.m. program. And this particular article came out yesterday. It says this: the Oregon Court of Appeals upheld a decision that forced 2 Christian bakers to pay $135,000 to a lesbian couple who said they felt, quote, mentally raped, end quote, when the bakers declined to make a wedding cake. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. I'm about to bust out crying right now just reading it. Freedom of expression for ourselves should require freedom of expression for others, First Liberty Institute President Kelly Shackelford said. First Liberty is one of the nation's most prominent religious liberty law firms, and they're representing this couple called the Kleins. Now, don't confuse this with a story about the baker from Colorado. His name is Jack. Jack's last name escapes me right now. Do you remember? His case is before the Supreme Court right now, so don't confuse that case with this one. This one was before the Oregon Court of Appeals, and I hope they'll take it on to the Supreme Court as well if they're able to do so. But I want you to, I'm not going to read any more of the article. It's a long article. We might share more later if we get time. Again, I'm just using it as an example of why this station is important, because you're not going to hear this anywhere else. Nobody else is going to talk about it on a local level here in Spartanburg, as far as I know. These folks, they need $135,000. We only need $20,000. They need $135,000 today to pay a lesbian couple that got mentally raped when they were told by the Kleins, we can't make a wedding cake for you. Comments? Can you believe that?
No comments.
All right, no comments, Nikki says. She's kind of got that look like, no comment. If I commented, it just, it wouldn't, well, I'm out of the picture here. Well, it wouldn't be good. Well, I'm just going to comment and say, folks, this is the kind of thing that should not be happening in the United States of America. If people won't speak up and let other people know about it so that we can pray about these things and be active in these things as the Lord might afford opportunity, then things like this will just get worse and worse and worse. One man in Washington can't do it. We can praise President Trump and be thankful for all that he's done, but one man can't do it. It takes people like you and me that will take a stand on these issues. And that's a little bit of what this radio station is all about. So if you think it's worthwhile, if you think us moving downtown and doing all the other outreaches, which I'm about to turn it over to Nikki and let her talk about those outreaches again, if that's worthwhile, we need some help. We need you to step up to the plate. Even if you don't go to this church, you may have a great church you go to, you love it, God has placed you there, and you're not coming here, that's fine. But the reason this church is different, and I believe we can request your help and be right in doing so, is simply because we are more than the four walls of a church, but we're reaching out to you right now via radio. So tell them what else is going to be at 250 North Church Street besides the church and the radio station.
Okay, first let me remind them that they can give by going to WXPSFM.com and click on the donate link, or they can give by mailing a check or a money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. They can call and tell that they're going to send a gift, or they can call and give via credit or debit card by going to 864-327-8725. And just for those that are watching, I do have Chloe here in my lap. Chloe, do you want to say hello to everybody?
Halo. Halo?
Halo.
Okay. She's wearing a halo today.
The kids are actually here in another room, and she was getting kind of tired and kind of getting a little bit whiny, so she's in here with me right now.
She needs a nap, and I think you do too, because that PowerPoint, I think, wore you out.
I know, it did. By the time I got to the end, I was sleepy.
We got to do it again. Between 3 and 4, we're going to do a quick version of that.
Okay.
For those that are just tuning in. And then at 5, we'll probably do a quick version again for those that are getting off work.
Okay.
Because we need folks to call.
Yep.
Folks, I can't stress it enough. We you gave the contact information, but
Yes.
tell what all else is going to be going on there on North Church Street and why folks can feel comfortable being a part of, especially people in Spartanburg, but really anywhere if they love the work of the Lord.
Right, as we've said over and over, I understand if someone, really having a desire to give to a building that they're not going to be attending church at, they're not a part of. I get that. I mean, that really should be the church's responsibility. And let me say, when we started out, we did have over $10,000 in the building fund, which was years of people in this church at times doing fundraisers or whatever and giving money, but we and we would give periodically here and there, just put some money into the building fund. But we had one lady who gave faithfully every month since she had started attending the church, which was several years ago, and faithfully every month she sent money for the building fund and still continues to do so. And all that adds up. And so we were very pleased to have over $10,000 to start us off. And that sounds like a lot until you start, purchasing materials and even purchasing cleaners and things like that. And quickly, we bought windows, we bought doors, things like that. It quickly, goes down. And but anyway, God's providing, and I believe He's going to provide the rest of this. But anyway, so why should people who don't attend True Chapel, or maybe not going to attend True Chapel, why would they be interested in this? Well, because of several things. One, it's also going to include a bookstore, which for those that live in Spartanburg, you don't have to attend the church to come to the bookstore. It will be open during the week, available for people to come during the week to shop. There'll be a prayer room available for people, and especially people who work in the downtown area, who they have a lunch hour and maybe would like to take a few minutes to go somewhere and pray and seek the Lord about things. I think you're planning on doing maybe a weekly prayer meeting at lunchtime for people in the downtown area.
Let me say this right quick about the bookstore. Somebody say, well, why would I give to help start a bookstore? Y'all are just going to make a bunch of money off of it.
No,
we're not going to make a bunch of money off of the bookstore. We're going to have the bookstore such that maybe we'll be able to, if people will come to it and respond to it, maybe the breathing and the
sorry.
Yeah, she's not wearing earphones or headphones, so she doesn't hear what we hear. So I have to say sometimes be careful of that. If people respond to the bookstore, we can make enough to pay the light bill, and the heat and the air, whatever's necessary to keep it going. That'll be about it, because we're going to have to add a little bit to what we pay for the items in order to be able to do it and keep it open. But we're not going to be making a great profit. The bookstore is not a money-making thing. The bookstore is an outreach, just like everything else in the church is. So when we say bookstore, please don't think, they're going to sell all kind of little trinkets and gadgets, whatever. No, most of the material is going to be from Jimmy Swaggart Ministries, Sun Life Broadcasting. There are going to be some other material. Most of the material will be things you can't get anywhere else unless you go order it online. But it's mainly going to be JSM material, but we're going to find some other things too that we know can be trusted and can be really great blessings to you. and make it available for folks right here in Spartanburg to walk into and say, oh, there it is. I don't have to order it. I don't have to do this. You'd be surprised the number of people. We had somebody buy a Bible recently that could have ordered it, but they came here to get it. Even though they don't go to church here, they drove here to get it, because some people still just don't like to order things. So it's going to be a convenience for people. It's going to be a selection of things that can be trusted by people. And so it's not a money-making thing for us. Please don't, when we say bookstore, please don't think, oh, they want us to help them get started in a business that's going to be a profit thing. Not that way at all.
Right.
Melissa has joined us on Facebook. She says praying and believing. Thank you, Melissa, very, very much for that.
Right. We're also going to have a larger facility for the radio station, which would, we get by with the area that we have. I mean, it works well, but one of the things that would be nice about the larger areas, we can have you can have guests come in the program easily, and have more space to accommodate those guests. We're going to have a recording TV set area to record TV programs, because we want to go back on TV, and that will also be videos that we'll upload on YouTube and other places for people anywhere in the world to be able to take advantage of watching those and receiving from those. We're going to have a room to print tracks and duplicate CDs and be able to send gospel material to people all over the world. So a lot of possibilities of outreach, not just for those really in Spartanburg, but people throughout. But anybody, whether they attend Truth Chapel or not, can benefit from this new location.
That's right.
And not only that, but for people who are from Spartanburg to realize the importance of having a gospel outreach like this in the downtown area, to realize all the our Spartanburg downtown, I don't know what downtowns are like in other places, but in Spartanburg downtown, it's really an up-and-coming place right now, as far as they've been working hard at renovating the downtown area and improving it. There are several buildings that are being redone and restored, and it's a thriving location in our town. And they have a lot of events throughout the year, bringing in thousands of people, not just from Spartanburg, but from all over into the downtown area. So being in that location, being right across the street from one of our nicest hotels in Spartanburg that has a lot of people traveling through on business, the ministry opportunities are absolutely incredible. And, to be able to be there as a lighthouse, like I said, not just open Sunday and Wednesday, but through the week there with the gospel, ready to present it to the people all throughout the week. I think it's something that is should be of interest to people, whether they attend Truth Chapel or not.
Right, that's right. And so we need to hear from you. Our phone number is 864-327-8725. We got to get Nikki outside to get some oxygen and get woke up good, because we're going to go through that PowerPoint again between 3 and 4 o'clock. And we want you, if you're listening right now, try to watch. And the way you do that is by going to visionoftruth.tv, or if you're at home and you've got your Roku hooked to your TV, look for the Vision of Truth app. It's free, and you can watch us live there on your big screen TV. And then you can also go to social media on your smartphone. If you want to go to Facebook and look for the Sound of Truth radio page, we're live there. If you go to YouTube, search for Truth Chapel World Evangelism Fellowship Church, we're live there. If you're on Twitter, go to @TruthChapelWef, and we're live there. So there's a lot of ways to watch. And as you see these pictures during the next hour, you're going to be seeing some information about how this all got started, and then some pictures of before and after. We're not through with the after yet. We'll come back again in a couple of months, we hope, and show you the finished product. But we are showing that a lot of work has been done, a lot of volunteer work. Nobody's had to be paid to do some of this work that's been done. But it's time. We don't do heating and air, but Pearson's Heating and Air does here in Spartanburg, and I do highly recommend them. And we're going to be using them to put in 3 new heating and air systems and get another one operational again that's already there. And so we're gonna be paying about $20,000 to get that done, plus paying a general contractor to put up walls, paying an electrician to do what's necessary, and the general contractor will also be working on our deck in the back that's got to be fixed up. He'll be doing a new canopy in the front, and so it's more than $20,000. It's a lot more than that, really. But we're just saying if we could get that today, my, what a tremendous help that would be. And I want everybody to participate that God leads to, and some that may be $1 gift or a $5 or $10 gift. But I really feel strongly today about feeling like there's somebody somewhere, maybe here in Spartanburg or maybe somewhere else, but they could easily give thousands of dollars to this work this afternoon, maybe even the whole $20,000. They could give it, and they wouldn't miss it. They would receive blessings from the Lord that they will otherwise not receive unless they're obedient to the Lord in this. And I'm believing they're going to tune in at some point, and they're going to tune in when they hear us saying this and say, that's me. I need to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that church being downtown and that radio station thriving and going on with the work God has called them to do, and knowing there's going to be a bookstore there, there's going to be a prayer room, et cetera, et cetera. I want to be a part of that by giving. And you'll be a significant, major part of it if you will call us today. 864-327-8725 is the phone number. It's there on the screen if you're watching at the bottom right. Our mailing address is Post Office Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. Please do call if you're going to mail in a gift so that we'll know it's coming. And you can also use credit or debit card over the phone when you call. And then our website is wxpsfm.com. You can donate safely and securely via PayPal there. Please indicate in the comments that it is for the building fund. And we're at $370 right now, so very, very thankful for that. But, you know, one family has given $300 out of that $370. And if they hadn't given that, we'd be at $70. And then if two other people hadn't given, we'd be at $0. And so my point is this. We've only had 3 donations so far. We've been on the air for 3 hours. We've had 3 donations. Let's get one more donation, at least for the next hour, and let's make it a $20,000 donation. What do you say? So we can catch up on this thing. And then we'll just come back and celebrate between 5 and 6. During just about home time, it'll just be celebration time. But in all seriousness, we need to hear from you. We need to know that you're out there. We need to know that you care and that you're going to be a part of this. And we've tried to lay out the needs just as plainly, you know, as we possibly can. That this is, folks, what we need to do. We need you to be a part of it. We need you to help. And so we're waiting to hear from you. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot more between now and the top of the hour. We're going to come back at 3 o'clock and begin this presentation again of where we've come from and where we are and why we need you to be a part of it. So we're waiting. Give the contact information one more time if you would, and we'll go to the song.
You can go online to wxpsfm.com and give safely and securely by clicking on the donate link, or you can mail a check or money order to P.O. Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. And if you're going to do that, also give us a call and let us know you're going to be sending something to 864-327-8725. You can also use that number to give via credit or debit card over the phone.
John saw a city that could not be hid. John saw a city
by the Lamb. I want to know everything about that Lamb. John saw the day, but did not see night. The Lamb of God, well, he must be the light. The Lamb of God, worship the great I am. Crying worthy, worthy is the Lamb. I want to go to that city he saw, New Jerusalem. I want to walk your streets that are golden, and I want to run where the angels have trod. Jerusalem, I want to rest on the banks of your river. In that city, the city of God. Sing for the night is
Song, and what a news story that was for 2017, right? Jerusalem. And that is Kim Coleman and the Family Worship Center Resurrection Choir on FM 92.1 WXPS Sound of Truth Radio. It is 3 o'clock, and you are listening to WXPS LP, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 92.1 FM. We welcome you in to, we're getting into what, our fourth hour of the fundraiser this afternoon. And just to kind of bring you up to date if you're just now tuning in as to what's going on today, we are preempting most of our regular afternoon programming with the exception of Brother Tony Hare coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll still have his program, and then we'll be back between 5 and 6. But we've been here since noon. We need to raise some more money. And, you know, I wish it was, in a way, I wish that ministry was such as you never had to go to people and ask for help. I wish the money was just automatically there and everybody would give and every need is provided for. But no matter what total we come out with at the end of the day today, I'm going to say I'm glad we did it. Even if we came up with zero, and that's not obviously not going to happen. We've got, let me announce this now, we're at 400 now. Nikki's going to get our new totals up soon. Melissa is giving $30. Thank you, Sister Melissa, so very, very much for that. It brings us to a nice even $400 as we're entering in to our fourth hour. And we want to just take it on from there. So thank you all, and thank you all, the rest of you who have given thus far. But even if we ended up today with no giving having taken place, that would be disappointing. But at the same time, I'm going to look back and say I did what I felt like the Lord would have me do to present the need to the people, because people don't know. I mean, if you just go on and struggle along and don't get to do things that you feel like God has instructed a church or a ministry to do, and you never told anybody about it, and you never said, we really could use your help, then I don't think that's the way to do it. I mean, I think we need to be practical about it while also being spiritual and trusting the Lord. We need to be practical about it and just present the needs. And so, in a way, I'd like to just say, well, we don't ever have to present needs. It's just all taken care of. But as we were saying earlier, a couple of hours ago, God requires faith of us. He requires faith. And so we enter into things by faith, and we believe for God to bring them to pass by faith. And so by faith, we're doing this today and asking you to join your faith with ours, and let's get this work done. Our phone number is 864-327-8725. If you would like to donate via credit or debit card over the phone, we'd love to hear from you right now. Nikki's out for a moment, so she can take your phone call. And if you'd like to mail in something, please also call that number to let us know that you're going to be mailing it in. Our address is Post Office Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. And then there's the website, wxpsfm.com, where you can donate safely and securely via PayPal through the website there. All you got to do is log in, and everything else is taken care of for you except for the dollar amount that you're going to be giving. We need $20,000 as a starting point to get the heating and air in, and then we need funds beyond that. But the other amounts we believe are going to be much lower, and we still do have some money. We've bought some things already. Now that I say we have some money, I'm talking a few $1,000s is all. We've bought some things already that you're not seeing yet. We have 3 brand new doors for the front of the building that are going to really look great. Those have been bought but not installed yet. They're on order. I hope they'll be in by the middle of next week and can be installed shortly after that. We've bought new glass to replace the 6 windows upstairs, not just new glass in those frames, but brand new frames, white, that will match the white paint we've done downstairs. And when we're done with all of that, all we've got to do on the front of the building is a new awning and put our signage up. And so all that's coming together very nicely. But we've got a lot of work to do inside, and part of the inside work that's got to be done that is required of us in order to get an occupancy permit, a certificate of occupancy, it is heating and air. So we've got to get that heating and air system done. And so if we come down to the end today and we don't have anywhere near what it's going to take to get that done, if there's anybody listening that could make a loan to the church of that amount, maybe interest-free if you could, we'll talk about the terms of the loan, sign papers, just like if it was a bank loaning the money. But it would be hard for us, as you can imagine, to get a loan from a bank on a piece of property that we are renting. Again, that's where faith comes in. It's not always just strictly business-related things. A church and a ministry has to be run as a business in some respects. But if it is run completely the way that a business is run, then we would never do anything unless we had the money in the bank to do it, and that doesn't require any faith. If you always got the money in the bank to do something, it doesn't require any faith on anybody's part, and that means it's not really God. It's just looking at the bottom line. It's looking at a bank account. So there are business aspects to running a church and ministry, but faith has to enter into it as well. Well, when you go talk to a banker, they don't want to talk about faith. They may even be a believer, but that's not how they run their business at the bank. They have to answer to somebody. If they can't say, well, they seem like nice people that had the right message, so we loan them the money. It doesn't work that way. But people can hear from God. You're not, as a person and an individual with your money, you're not bound by the policies that a bank is bound by on how to loan money. You could do that possibly. So if we come to that point today where we still don't have the money, but somebody is willing to talk to us about doing something to help us out until we can pay you back, and let's talk about what the terms would be to be able to pay you back a certain amount per month in a certain amount of time, please get in touch with us and make that offer to us and talk to us about that. If I knew somebody to call and ask to do that, I would have done that already so we could get this heating and air underway. But I don't know anybody to call and ask to do that. So somebody possibly, though, could step up and say, I'll be a part of that. All right, there's our new total on the screen, $400. Waiting to hear from you. Post Office Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29304. Our phone number is 864-327-8725, and the website is wxpsfm.com. If I knew something else to say that would encourage you to give, and I'm speaking to everybody once again, but I'm especially speaking to people that haven't given before, but you could do something very, very significant toward this goal and this need. If I knew something else to say to try to make it any plainer, to try to be any more clear with you and any more honest with you about what we're doing and why we're doing it, then I would say those things. I would say whatever it is, but I don't know what else that would be. So what I'm going to do, even though she's tired from the 2-hour presentation that she did, just finished that up just about an hour ago, I'm going to turn it back over to Nikki, ask her. I know she'll say some things that she's already brought out, several points that I didn't think about today that really explain what we're doing and why you should be a part of it possibly. And so I'm going to turn it back over to her, ask her to do a quicker presentation for us with the pictures again and the information about what's going on. And listen with your heart. And if you love the carrying forth of the gospel of Jesus Christ, I want you to listen to what God is doing here in Spartanburg and pray about, Lord, would you have me do something?
All right. Yes, we need people to pray about being a part and praying that every financial need is met, because it's important. We're working on a deadline of we have to be there by March. We wanted to be there long before March, because here's the thing for us is the time to us is important because it's souls. We feel like any time delays, we're missing out on certain people, or we're missing out on opportunities, and we don't like to miss opportunities to share the gospel. So we want to get there as quickly as possible, but we really do have a deadline of March 1st. We've got to be moved in. So $20,000 is a lot of money for us, and we need to get that met so we can get we need a minimum of that so we can get the heating and air in, but then there's also going to be the walls going up and some other the electrical work, so we need your help. As we shared earlier, and I'm going to kind of recap through, we have prayed about a new location for many years. As far back as 2010, we received land, and we thought at that time that that would be where we would eventually build a new church. But then back a year ago, we really felt strongly like God was saying downtown Spartanburg is where we were supposed to be. It wasn't just, at first we kind of, even before that, when we kind of settled on the idea of maybe we weren't going to build, maybe we were going to find a building that's already been built somewhere more into town. We even kind of looked on the outskirts of the city, but as we kept praying and kept seeking God, we just really felt like downtown was where we were supposed to be, right there in the heart of town. And that's exactly where we're headed, is in the heart of town. We began looking on Main Street. We looked at Magnolia Street. We looked at Church Street. We looked all within that area. We looked at Kennedy Street. Anything in that downtown area we began looking at. Unfortunately, there were a lot of delays along the way. We began, like I said, last December 2016, and we would talk to people. We would have a building that was a possibility, and at times, and sometimes the people would say, yeah, they were interested in talking to us, and then they turn around and say they changed their mind. Sometimes, we had some that would just flat out say they didn't really want a church there. We had some that we looked at places that, and we always had to think, well, what can we afford? And in times we looked at places that was in our budget range, but it was too small. And at those times we would even discuss, well, maybe we could do something temporary, something kind of in between, like instead of moving the whole church, just move the radio station and bookstore, or just do a portion of our plans there and keep our Pine Street location. But we never felt like that was what we were supposed to do. And then sometimes we would look at places that were just too cost prohibitive because they would require things like a sprinkler system to be installed, and we knew we just couldn't afford that much work. And then at times we would try to call real estate agents, and we'd have a very difficult time talking and working with them, and not able to get them to cooperate. But we kept searching, and at times we get discouraged, admittedly, but we didn't give up. In spring of 2017, we saw this building on Church Street, North Church Street, 250 and 252 North Church Street, and this building had a phone number in the window of the owner instead of a real estate agent's number. So Scott decided to give him a call and find out about the building. He was very nice, very receptive to what we wanted to do. He thought a church would be a great idea. He invited us to come take a look around, and we did. We went and we met him. We took a tour of the building, and we were very excited. And then we found out that he said that we were really too late, because there was already somebody who had placed an offer on buying the building, and that this person kind of had like first dibs, that since he had already was trying to move forward on it, he would be given the option first to get it. But the man told us that we were welcome to call back and to continue checking on the location in a few weeks. So that's what happened. It was like a series of months, really, from spring until August. Scott would call back. He would say, nope, he's still looking. He's still interested. Give him a few more weeks. And so meanwhile, we would keep searching. We would look at other buildings. We would talk to other people. But things would fall through, and we call this man back at the Church Street location and say, has anything happened? And it just continued of going. I remember one time he even made the comment to you, if this man doesn't do something soon, I'm just going to let you have it. And but finally, the sign came down that had the phone number. And so we, in our minds and our thoughts, it was a done deal. Our hearts sunk, because we were like, oh, okay, well then it's not going to be that building after all. And but then we would still go right by, and I was like, well, no one's working on it. Why aren't they working? If they got the building, why aren't they working on it? And finally, you decided to call the man back again, and give it another shot. And this was around August, and you called back. Scott called back, and he found out that the things had fallen through. The man was not going to be able to get the building after all. And so he said, if y'all are still interested, I'll be glad to give you a tour. And we said, absolutely. So after that, you're just kind of just sitting there. After that, I'm
taking a break.
We had the board come out and showed them everything. We had different people come and give us prices on things like that we knew were going to be major expenses, like the roof and the electrical and the heating and air. We started getting prices on all that, just so we know how much money we were looking at as far as work that had to be done on the building. And we also met with the city inspector, because we wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to require anything that would be impossible for us as a church. And sometimes churches have some requirements that other businesses don't have, so we wanted to make sure that we're not going to be any unreasonable requirements that we would be unable to meet. So we met with him. All that went well, and none of it none of it surprised us. That everything that was said, we understood it all and expected it all. And so then we were able to go to our board and talk to them and get their approval. And so by the end of August, we were able to make an offer to him. We were given the key to begin the work, and we signed a contract and began our work in early September. So those that are watching, you see the picture of Scott standing there with the key. That's the day that we went and met with the men, and got, and he said, keep the key. It's yours. Go do whatever you need to do. And we actually began the very next week. We were down there working and began getting things done as far as things cleaned out. God brought it all together. I'm going to pause here for a moment to say God brought it all together.
Amen.
And a lot of times along the way, we would think, well, this would be good, or well, that would be good. And honestly, we were always like, God, just show us. I remember one time we were actually looking at this building at the time, as well as a couple of others at the time. And I remember praying one night, Lord, just show me which one it is. If in a dream, just show me which building it is, so I know. And I remember that night I dreamed about us being in the building and working in it, but that's all I saw was me working. I didn't see any details. And so I woke up the next day and I said, well, I saw that we were in a building working, but I can't tell you anything else beyond that.
He just told you it's going to be a lot of work.
It just showed me
we joked about that phrase, a lot of work, a couple hours ago, because that's what everybody, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work. It's like, well, duh.
Yeah.
But you're not going to do it probably, so don't worry about it. But God apparently showed Nikki it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's what those people, they were just speaking what the Lord laid on their heart, right? When they said it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is that that time, one of the buildings we were looking at that time wasn't one that needed a lot of work. And we were looking at several. I don't know if you remember the one that basically was just going to need some walls put up because it was a relatively new building.
Which one that was?
Yeah, it was relatively new and wasn't going to need like any major.
Oh yeah, I do remember.
Work.
He's another one that never called us back.
Yeah.
He said, we got a few things we got to work out here. It might take a couple of months, and I'll call you back. We never heard from him.
Yeah, but
I hate to be lied to.
I know.
See, when I start to get tired, I start to just tell things like it is. I've been lied to a lot in the last year.
Yeah.
And when you find honest people that you can work with that are good folks, you appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because of the ones I found out, I always knew there was since pastoring a church, I knew there was a lot of politics and a lot of ugly stuff in the so-called world of religion. I knew it. We all know it from government. And then I found out it's true in the business world. People will look you right in the eye and tell you they're going to do something even for free, and you're like, this is great. God has really blessed us, and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah, we had quite a few of those.
So when you find the good folks like we've been working with, makes you very thankful for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, there was one that was going to require a little work, and it was a great location in its own way, but
this is better.
This is better.
This is better. Yeah,
it really is. Yeah.
But so it did kind of, in my mind, eliminate maybe that one, because it was like, okay, that one's not really going to need a lot of work. And I was working in the dream. I was cleaning. I was working.
Mm-hmm.
But there was still others that we were looking at that were in the same situation. So it didn't narrow it down to like, this is the one. But I just kept praying, and we pursued everything we could and said, okay, what about this one? Okay, what about this one? Okay. And so at times we were pursuing several at one time. And then we would see doors that were just like completely closed, like, okay, it's not that one then. And we were asking people to pray, and people were praying. And then this one seemed a closed door. Most people, if they saw the real estate, or not a real estate sign, it was a personal phone number. If they saw the sign come down with the phone number saying for sale or lease, they wouldn't have called back.
And especially after the man had said there was this other guy that was interested, and he thought he was going to make it. He said he even said one time, the city really wants this guy to get in there. The city wants him to have this business there.
Yeah.
But then it ended up falling through. But we never would have known if we hadn't called back. Like you said.
Right. And, I can tell a similar story with the building we're currently in. You had called him, and he said he wanted to sell the building. He wasn't interested in leasing and didn't want to talk to us. And a few weeks later, you said, I'm going to call him back. And I was like, okay, well, he said he didn't want to lease, but okay. So you called, and he said, well, I'll tell you what, let's meet down there at the building and talk about it. So we met, and we talked, and he said, well, tell me what you can do. And he told us what his previous tenant paid, and it was far from what we could do.
Twice. It was over twice what we said we could do.
And so He gave us the rate we said. He gave us some free months to work on the building. He gave us an incredible deal, and that's kind of the same situation we've had with this Church Street location, in that it looked to the natural man, they could have said, oh, well, he's not interested in working with us. He already said no. And in this case, it wasn't that he wasn't interested. He had somebody else who wanted it. The sign was gone. To most people, it would seem it's a closed door. But instead, we just felt like we should just call again. And you called, and he said, come on back. He said, come on back.
That was August, but this started back in March or April.
Yeah.
So we had about four months there or more when we were kind of in limbo about it.
Yeah.
Thinking that somebody else was going to get it. But, yeah, it just shows, I'm not saying that I'm not using me as an example by any means. I wonder how many times I've missed the Lord. But, listen to what the Lord has to say.
Yeah.
Be sensitive. Even if he tells you to do something that seems a little bit, makes you feel like you're pushing a little too much or whatever, if it's, you got to know it's the Lord. But if it is, do what he said.
Yeah.
And, he uses people.
Right.
He'll tell you things. He'll show you things, and you got to move on it. You can't just sit back and ignore it.
Yeah. Yeah. So God opened the door, and we, praise God, we were able to go through it, and we started work that September. And initially, our first work, as we shared, the building had been previously a bar, and the previous tenant had left everything behind. Left the furniture, left the glasses, left the TVs, left the DVD players, left literally everything.
Which was all worthless. It's not like
Yes.
we got to sell any of it.
No, it was stuff that was just, it was needed to go straight to the trash. And so that's what we did. The pictures, for those that are watching, are going to be of the inside of the building before we did a single thing. So this is all the junk that was in it. And honestly, when I was putting this together for today, it was kind of interesting to go back and look at these first pictures I took, because, at the time, and I encouraged people, when I told people at the church about what we were doing, I said, don't look at the work, but look at the possibilities. You can look and you say, oh, that's a mess. That's going to be a lot of work. You can say all the things that's going to have to be done. Or you can look and say, wow, that's going to be an awesome space with a lot of possibilities. And that's exactly what I saw at the time. Now, looking back at these pictures, I'm thinking, wow, that was a lot of stuff we had to do. And God brought us through it. And, I didn't have any negative feelings about it. I was happy that he had provided and didn't care that we had all of that to do. It got me through every day as we drug everything out of there. So here's the inside. That's the downstairs where it's going to be the sanctuary. And that's in its raw, early condition with all the junk that's in there. The bar, you can see all the stuff. There was even a blender, I think, sitting on one of the counters. They had mirrors hung everywhere, and they were glued on. So to get them off, we had to pry them off, and it was an ordeal getting them down. But anyway, so there's all that. That's the hallway, another hallway. Here's a room that I think was probably kind of like maybe a janitor closet or something at some point, because there's a big mop bucket there. But you can see they literally left it. I don't know. I think they left
a mess.
Yeah.
They left it in a mess.
Yeah, and there's like a little kitchen area.
But messes can be cleaned up. God can redeem buildings like He does people.
Yes, and one of the first things we did was we just ordered a dumpster to be brought out, and we had that brought out several different times as we ripped and pulled out everything we could, as far as the furniture goes, the carpet goes, paneling goes. We got all that ripped down and thrown into the dumpster. And so we had to do several loads like that. And Jimmy took a load to the landfill. Yes, thank you. So this is the upstairs we're looking at now. Just stuff everywhere. There's also a bar up there on that second floor. So that was that was all there. Stage 1, clean out. There's the dumpster that we got, and we filled it full. And let me say, the dumpsters rentals, talking about money, the dumpster rentals were, what, a little over $400 every time?
About $400 each, yeah.
And so,
did that 4 times.
And we did that 4 times, bringing the dumpster in and filling it up. And so that was quite a bit of money we used just getting it cleaned out. Although we did all the work, we did all the labor, we didn't hire people to come in there and do it. It would have been nice to, but we didn't. We try to be as frugal as we can all along the way. We always try to compare prices everywhere. We try to find the cheapest way to do something. We're cognizant of that. We don't just spend money like it grows on trees.
We end up doing a lot of things. I'm going over there tonight to try to get a hot water heater going because we need hot water to clean tomorrow.
Right.
We've had to do some cleaning without the hot water heater. I couldn't put in a hot water heater till the roof got fixed. I couldn't put it in with leaks still going on. But I'm going to try to get that in tonight. I didn't call anybody to do it. I'm going to do it myself to get hot water running in there tomorrow so we can clean. So we end up doing a lot of things ourselves. And, I almost have learned the lesson with this building we're in now and that one, with the exception of some things that you just can't do unless you're trained and have the license. But a lot of times, if you want it done right, just do it yourself. Don't depend on somebody else to do it. They're going to charge you an arm and a leg and might not do it right anyway.
Right. Well, on painting the outside, the side is a 2-story building, and it's very large on the outside. And we've gotten prices on getting the outside painted, and either the prices we received or just not getting a call back or anything. We finally said, forget it. We'll go to Lowe's and buy one of those extended rolling handles.
But we haven't done that yet.
We haven't done it yet.
Every time I look up inside
to.
that building, I'm thinking, oh, did I really say I was going to paint that?
I'll do it.
No.
I'm not scared of it.
You going to get it in the bucket?
No. That's what we bought the long handle for.
I know, but the handle's not as long as the building is tall, but we'll talk about it later, I guess.
We're going to do it. I don't care. We're going to do it. I'm not paying someone the amount of money they're asking for to just paint the side of that building.
We're not paying $1,500 to paint that side of the building.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And I one day I was talking to Matthew, and I made the comment, I said, some things, if you want to get it done, you just got to do it yourself. You got to figure it out and just do it. And he said, yeah, y'all pretty much do everything that way. I said, absolutely. I was like, we do. We figure it out, and we just do it. Even if it's not anything I have a clue about, I'm going to find out how to do it. I'm going to do it. So, we try to save money. We try to save money, and many times that means we're doing it.
I'd feel bad if I was sitting here this afternoon saying, hey, how about giving $20,000 so we can sit back and let somebody else clean the building out? No, the $20,000 is because we don't do heating and air, and we're not licensed to do heating. Even if I thought I could, rent my own crane and buy the units and try to hook them up myself, I can't do that. I'm not licensed to do it.
Yeah.
The city won't allow me to do that, so we've got to have the right person to do it. But that's what we've asked for money for, is either to buy materials or to pay somebody for jobs we cannot do ourselves. We don't hire people to come clean or to come haul junk out or do any of the things that we've been able to do ourselves.
Yep.
We've done it.
Yep.
And we're going to continue to. We got a lot more left to do.
Yep. So here's the upstairs, the left side, which is going to be the future home of the radio station, TV recording set, classrooms. And this is us, the work being done and how far it's come. There you see my kids working on tearing out the bar. And, of course, I was helping them with that. But they did a good job. My youngest is 8. That's Elijah. And then there's Jeremiah in the red shirt. He's 10. Gabrielle's 12. And they worked hard and got that thing torn out of there. Not only did they do that, but they helped carry a lot of stuff downstairs to go to the dumpster. And that was the not so fun part. A lot of the furniture we had to carry down the stairs to the first floor to be able to throw out, and that was difficult at times. There they are working there. We also had paneling in that whole room that we had to pull off and get out of there. There's Melissa there and Joe in that far right picture. They've been there working and cleaning. There, that part of the room there is where the classrooms are going to be. There's really nothing left to do there except for to finish some cleaning and painting. And and then we'll have the general contractor put up some walls to make the classrooms. On this side, same thing, just got to finish cleaning and painting, and the general contractor is going to put up one wall on that side for us. So we're going to have the radio station over there and the TV recording set with the windows in the background, so that we'll have a nice scene behind us as we're recording programs. So that's the upstairs. The upstairs on the left side, the upstairs on the right side is already laid out with offices. So we're going to keep that layout, keep the offices, keep the be able to have a meeting room up there, a work room where we'll print tracks and duplicate CDs. We'll have a recording room for making radio programs and things like that. There wasn't a whole lot to be done there other than get all the junk out, and then we had to rip up the carpet there. When we got the carpet ripped up, we discovered like this foam that was stuck to the floor really bad, and we got a sander that didn't do too well, but Scott started with it, and the floors ended up looking like that for those that are watching. But then we got a more powerful sander, and then the floors ended up looking like this. So a couple of times of sanding, which I say that like it wasn't really anything, but first of all, carrying that sander up the steps.
I hated that thing. Both of them were heavy. I mean, they have to be heavy to be able to grind down in there, but wasn't any fun. And I had just hurt my back right before we got one of those. I remember me and Jose trying to get that up the stairs, and I didn't think either one of us was going to make it, but we got it up.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah. So, and
again,
the office,
do it yourself.
Yeah, the offices are really about finishing up for some paint, and we're going to replace some light fixtures. But see, all this we've done. It's been me and Scott and our kids and some of the folks at our church who come out on the weekends and help us. We've done all this, and there's Laura in that picture cleaning the bathrooms. We had others helping clean bathrooms and getting them scrubbed. So we try to do as much as we can ourselves, and we've done a lot. Downstairs, the right side is the future bookstore. Excuse me, I should stay on that other screen first. Bookstore, prayer room, nursery, and library. Right here, this first picture is where we're going to put the nursery. We just got to put a wall up there and clean and paint in that area. Here they are pulling up carpet right there, and we're going to replace the counter in the kitchen area. This room is going to be the prayer room, and they pulled down the shelves that were in there, and here we got a picture of them ripping up the carpet and getting that pulled away. So what we're going to be doing, those that are coming to help us work tomorrow, Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock, we're going to be there working. We're just going to be cleaning. We're going to be cleaning the downstairs, getting it scrubbed from one end to the other, so that hopefully in the next week or two we can begin painting, because that's the next thing that needs to be done, is to get the downstairs painted, but we want it clean first. Notice everything we can we're doing ourselves. We've hired the roof to be done. We had to hire the windows to be done. We're going to have a general contractor do the walls, not our choice, but the city's requirement. And we're going to have the heating and air hired, and the electrical we have to hire. But everything we can that we can do without hiring someone, we've been doing ourselves. We're going to lay the carpet ourselves. We got carpet squares, and we're going to get it laid. And so, what we can do, we do ourselves. Here's the downstairs, the left side. One of the first things Scott did in there was he pulled down the drop ceiling, and that was in part of the room, because the drop ceiling was so low that if that was on the end, we were going to put the platform, and if we stood up on a platform, we were going to hit our heads on the drop ceiling. So we tore that out, got rid of it. We pulled the mirrors off all the walls, and got all that swept up out of there. Joe and Chad, they helped us get the bar torn out and took it out to the dumpster. We got the paneling all off the walls that was in there. Just got it cleaned out really good. They're getting some stuff down there too. And so we got it all cleaned up. And this is kind of what it looks like, even though it's dark, because I took this picture when it was dark outside. But it's right now just a big open room that mostly needs cleaning and then needs paint. And So it's headed that way. Outside, we started work on the front outside. We first got a banner up back earlier in December so that people would know that we were headed that way. And we got the banner up that says Truth Chapel and WXPS 92.1 bookstore coming soon, so that they would know to expect us and start tuning in the radio prayerfully. And then Scott hung some wreaths up for the Christmas season. We see here a picture of him trying to take down the Ferguson Tavern sign because we wanted to get it down, but we were having trouble getting it down. He finally did get it down, though, using the back of my brother-in-law's truck. And, honey, my throat is about to go. Can you take over telling this?
About how I took the banner down? Or not, just in general. Okay, keep the slides going. Let's move on. We did get the banner down, not as soon as we wanted to, but got it down. And now you see some painting taking place. Now the whole exterior of the building, the wood part anyway, is white instead of the gray. And so you can come in together there, and then move on again, please, to the next picture. And you can see it much more complete there. And also the glass has now been replaced on the front. 3 large panes of glass were necessary. You see the Carolina Glass Company van parked there to install those, and that allowed us to put some Christmas decorations in the window for the Christmas season. And that's one of the reasons we felt led to do this program today, is because we knew that people had been able to see some work going on the outside and see that we decorated and see the banner up and so forth, and hopefully new people tuning in, some of which may be able to help us out. Wreaths there on the doors. The doors, by the way, will be replaced very soon. There are some doors on order. They have a wood look. They're not actually wood. They're fiberglass, but they have a wood grain look. They're mahogany. They will match the brick very well. All 3 of those front doors will be replaced. The glass looks really bad in the two in the 2 doors with a lot of glass. And Nikki said, maybe we just do some steel doors and do solid. I said, no, we need to do a little bit better than that. I thought to make nice looking exterior doors. So you're going to see those coming soon. The panes of glass will be replaced soon in the upstairs windows. There will be 1 solid pane each with a white border that will match the white wood we have. And so by the time we add the doors and the windows upstairs, the outside is really going to be coming together. And the only thing that will be done beyond that in the future will be to take down that small awning on the right and put a large awning all the way across from side to side, and to put our signage up. Up above those upstairs windows, it's going to say Truth Chapel, World Evangelism Fellowship Church. It will be a reverse lit or halo lit sign. Down below those top windows, we will have WXPS FM 92.1 on probably the left side, and the word bookstore on the right side, since the bookstore entrance will be on the right side. So that's going to keep coming together, and one day when we have it all done and we compare that picture to that very early picture with the whole Ferguson's banner there, that's going to be quite a difference. All right, go ahead. That's kind of how it looked at Christmas, with it being decorated on both sides there. And then I want to mention about the prayer meetings right quick before we end up this presentation. We believe that the prayer meetings, which really we started asking people about exactly a year ago to begin praying about us moving downtown when we felt strongly about doing that. We believe the prayer meetings were very vital and instrumental in that taking place, because when people get together and believe God for His will to be done, God will move and respond. And that's exactly what He did. And so here's some of the scenes from some of the more recent prayer meetings that we've had. We met in one of the rooms. What we would do is actually have a work night or work afternoon on Fridays, and then we would end it by getting together in that room that was closer to being finished than others, and we'd get together and pray. And you can see some of the people there that came and participated. And we've gotten to the point at Truth Chapel, and I didn't know exactly where we needed to go with prayer meetings, but I'll be honest with you, years ago we had some prayer meetings where it was kind of dead and kind of quiet. But we've got some folks in church now that really know how to pray. They know how to seek the Lord. They know how to pray in the Spirit. And you can see it's not just people all sitting quietly in chairs, but people got up and lifted their hands, and they most of all lifted their hearts and lifted their faith and prayed and sought the Lord. And I believe the progress we've shown you already is a direct result of those prayer meetings, and what is going to happen ultimately is going to be a direct result of those prayer meetings. So as it says here on the slide, God is moving, and we're moving downtown to 250 and 252 North Church Street. And last but not least, coming down to our last couple of slides here, this was what it looked like. This is a trailer on the back of my brother Jimmy's truck with the cross in the back of the, at the front end of the trailer, the banner on the back end of the trailer saying that we are moving downtown. We went through downtown from Henry Street on to Pine, down Main Street, down Church Street, right to in front of our building, telling people that we're going to be moving. Another thing that we did to try to introduce people to the church and to the radio station again this year in the parade. But this year we were able to say that great things are coming in 2018 as far as the move. And so that brings us right to where we are today. We need your help. Our phone number is 864-327-8725. Please call us at that number if you would like to give via credit or debit card. I will be honest with you, we're going to step out of here in a few minutes and go grab something to eat to come back at 5 o'clock and continue this for another hour. And then, like I said, I'm going to be going down to the church building tonight to get something installed and set up in order for the workday to take place tomorrow. So we got to take a little break here to grab something to eat. So we're not going to be here during that entire hour that we're playing Brother Tony Hare's program. We're not going to be here that whole hour. So we ask you, if you call during that time, please leave us a voicemail and let us know that you want us to call you back. If you want to use credit or debit card over the phone, we'll call you back. If you're just wanting to tell us that you're mailing in a gift, just leave that in the message. Again, that phone number is 864-327-8725. And the mailing address is Post Office Box 1905, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. That's on your screen if you're watching, down at the bottom right. And our website is wxpsfm.com. We are at $400 right now. Now, we've been doing this since noon today. We're about to take a break for Brother Tony Hare's program up at the top of the hour in about 15 minutes. And so we're so grateful. But we have four people or four families, some are individuals, some are families, that have given toward this $400 today. So we really, 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 really need to hear from some of you that are still out there and you've not given. And I'm especially appealing to those who have never given to this work. You're new to it, but you've been introduced to this radio station. You know that what you're hearing on it is right. It's blessing you. You can't turn it off. You go back. You find yourself going back to it because of what you're hearing. You've never heard anything like it before, and we need you to be a part of this. Please don't just sit back and say, well, I'll let somebody else do it. Listen, somebody else were the ones who put this radio station on the air almost 3 years ago and have been supporting it ever since. Somebody else is the one who's been supporting Truth Chapel for the last 13 years and kept it going, kept the doors open until we came to this opportunity. It's always been somebody else. Now's your time. Now is your time to be a part of something that we believe is going to be instrumental for people in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and as we say on the radio station, Spartanburg and beyond. I'm not saying that about me. I'm not saying it about Nikki or anybody else in my family or anybody else in the church. I'm saying it about the work of the Lord. We believe what we're doing is the work of the Lord. If it's not, we have no business doing it, and we certainly have no business coming to you and asking for your help. But I have confidence in what God has told us to do, that He's going to use it, and He already is using it. He already is, but He's going to use it even more in the future as we get downtown.